Good evening and welcome to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, and what you're about to witness isn't just another newscast. This is a front row seat to history in the making. We're streaming live to millions worldwide across YouTube, Rumble, and X, and tonight's show might be our most explosive yet. Speaking of explosive, we are just 21 days into the post-election era where Donald Trump's landslide victory over Kamala Harris has the establishment in absolute meltdown. And with Thanksgiving just 48 hours away, they are certainly not feeling very thankful about what's coming their way. Now, before we dive in, I want you to do something crucial. Share this stream. Not through the platform's compromised algorithms, but directly via text message to everyone you know who needs to hear the truth. And while you're at it, make sure you're following us on Rumble and X, because what we're about to discuss, well, let's just say some platforms might not appreciate real journalism. Now, for our loyal viewers who support the show through Super Chats and Rumble Rants, we see you, we appreciate you, and we'll be featuring your comments on screen between segments. Your voice matters, and we're going to make sure that the world hears it. Now, tonight's lineup is nothing short of historic. We're tracking 5 major developments that are reshaping America as we speak. First up, we have the border wars. They've ignited as Trump's tariffs and the threats are sending Mexico and Canada into panic mode, while sanctuary cities face their day of reckoning. Second, a media revolution is underway as Trump prepares to purge the White House press room of fake news merchants and replace them with real journalists. Third up, corporate America's great awakening continues as major companies like Walmart lead the charge against woke DEI policies. And fourth, Trump's transition team goes nuclear on the deep state, completely bypassing their corrupt systems. And finally, we're tracking the growing threat of global conflict as Biden's reckless policies push us closer to World War III. But here's the thing, Patriots, bringing you this level of truth is not easy. The powers that be would love nothing more than to silence independent voices like ours, and that's why we need your support now more than ever. The links to donate are in the description below, and every dollar helps us keep fighting the good fight. And speaking of fighting the good fight, we have just launched our new merchandise line at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Our exclusive limited edition Mag Avengers collection isn't just clothing, it is a statement. It's your way of showing the world that you stand with real news and not fake news. Remember, if you want your voice heard during the show, Super Chats get priority treatment between segments, and we'll be featuring them on screen for the world to see because unlike the mainstream media, we actually care what our viewers think. So buckle up, Patriots. This is the Raw Feed. We're about to take you on a journey through the stories they don't want you to hear. The revolution is being televised, and you are watching it live. Now let's dive in and welcome you to the show. Who's here tonight? Sure you, with the Cactus of Truth. Heather Reeve is here. What's up? Ophikus is here. Bully Crusher, Angel Eyes, Lindsay Davis, Lori. Who else? Jay Truss, Bully Crusher. Who else is here? Jeremy Olson, Hermie Elf, Running Bear. We've got... Did I see Angie? Is Angie here? Hey, Angie's in the house. What's up? Hey, honey, how are you? Okay, we got the Rumble bot. We got Gilbert Lokes. We got Denox QC from Quebec. What's up, Quebec? I'm Siler is here. Who else is in the house? We've got, let's see, Mike's son is here. We've got Michael in Scranton. We've got S23. Great to see so many familiar people and new ones. Isn't that great, Angie? Isn't it wild to see all these people like tuning in and just participating in the chat and getting educated on what's happening. It's so awesome. We got the Fishman here. We got the Mountain Goddess. We got Dingo Booty. Patriot, we're under siege. Yours truly is here. We got Larry and Pothead Kenny and Ryan and American Nana. Ashley Adam. Ryan Dinga in North Dakota. We got Linda Scheel. We got Vorkeen. We got Jeff Lohr in the house. We got KK. We got Debbie Bradley. Madge MC. Bump Ship is here. Gaming Episodes. Jay Bear is here. Who else? Albignisian in the UK. What's up, UK? Reach the Masses Lakeland. We'll send some Florida. So, yeah, we could use some of that around now. Heather Beth is here as well. We got Kathy. Oh, the kids are watching too. What's up, boys? How are you guys doing? It's great to see everyone here. What's up, Gary? Hector is here. Who else? Francis Volmer, Sarah Rhodes. We got Guinevere and Alan, Marisol, and Danny from Montreal, Canada. Marisol's in Massachusetts. We got Kim Me from Washington State. TJBJTB, so happy to make the live. Well, we're happy you're here. We're happy you made it. We got Tao Keese. We got Jim Gunter from Michigan. Oh, Hawaii in the house. Oh, what's up? Oh, man, I need to make it there someday. I need to make it to Hawaii. What do you say, Angie? Should we try to get to Hawaii, take the kids? Definitely want to make it there. We got Bruce from Fanny Bay in Vancouver Island. I have been, Bruce. I have been to Vancouver Island. And funny story, I went up there for a wedding of my friend and rented a car, drove up, across the border, and like all the stories, Canada, it's like the Great White North. It's always cold. But man, where we were, it was like tropical. It was so crazy. I mean, I'll never forget it. It was a wild wedding. We almost missed it. Me and the boys. Yeah. We almost missed the wedding. All right, we got Kim in Michigan. We got Heather in Florida. Lori in Nevada. Scooby Dragon's here. We've been waiting for you, Scooby. In Nebraska. Derek Martin, Kansas City. I call BS. Is here from North Carolina. Meathead's here. Finally, we can get the show started now. We've been waiting for Meathead to show up. Matt B is here from Las Vegas. Don't spend it all in one place there, buddy. Dingo Booty. Yes, we already mentioned you, Dingo. Ryan Dinga is here, North Dakota. Trump Card 45 in Vegas as well. Jeremy Olson is in Elk Valley. Alistar McMillan in Taiwan. Holy cow. Taiwan. That'd be a cool place to visit, too. Who else is here? Running Bear, the Little Rascals. Little Rascals. Apologies, says... okay, Susan is here, and Francis Volmer, Bully Crusher, Jake Queen, Deidre's here, Teresa, Mayor Z Dotes is here as well. Wow, the gang is all here, and it's great to see you guys. We got a lot of news to get into tonight, and don't want to delay anymore because so much to get into. And, well, we got to get it. We got to get it going. Got to break it down. So let's do it. Good evening, America. What you're about to see will shake our nation to its core. Within hours of Trump threatening 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada, both countries' leaders were scrambling to make deals. But that is just the beginning. Tom Homan, our next border czar, has declared war on sanctuary city mayors who dare defy federal law. Denver's Mike Johnston says he'll go to jail to protect illegals, while Homan's response is crystal clear. I'm willing to put him there. And tonight we expose how Trump's border strategy is already working as both Trudeau and Mexico's president bend the knee before he even takes office. Now, Patriot, in these trying times of border chaos, protecting yourself isn't just smart, it's essential. That's why I trust Canalidine for maximum security against pain and discomfort. Just like our Border Patrol needs the right tools to secure our nation, your body needs Canalidine's powerful natural formula to maintain its defenses. While sanctuary cities may harbor threats, Canalidine harbors only relief. It's 100% drug-free, legal nationwide, and trusted by over 1 million Americans, including our brave law enforcement officers. Visit tricano.com/NNN, because just like our borders, your body deserves the strongest protection available. Okay, we've been tracking what's been going on at the border. We've got another caravan apparently is en route, but Tom Homan went down to the border, and this is what he had to say.
Immigration are. What you've done is not only protect the state of Texas and the citizens of Texas, you are protecting this nation. It's a shame we have other governors and other mayors who are right out of the gate. I said they're going to push back on President Trump and what we're trying to do, especially for interior enforcement. Let me be clear. There is going to be a mass deportation because we just finished a mass illegal immigration crisis on the border, where anybody can look at 9 out of 10 people claim asylum at the border will end up with an order removal. So you can't ask for the right to claim asylum, the right to see a judge, the right to due process, and we give you that due process, and at the end of that due process, a federal judge orders you removed, we have to remove them. Because if we don't, shut down the immigration court. Those orders don't mean anything anymore. Take you guys off the border because there's no consequences. So you can't demand due process and the right to claim asylum and not obey the court order. That is why there needs to be a mass deportation. We have a mass number of people, millions of people who will get a final order and be order removed. If we don't do it, what is the option? Let them stay? Because if you let them stay, you'll never fix the border. You're going to send a message to the rest of the world. Enter the country legally, which is a crime. Ignore a court order, you never have to go home. We're telling the whole world it's okay to enter this country legally, you never got to go home. We're a nation of laws, and we're going to enforce the laws. The men and women of the ICE, they're going to have a tough job ahead of them. And I'm sending a message for people that said they're going to get in our way. They're going to stop us from doing what we're doing on an interior enforcement operation. I've said it 100 times in the last week. Don't cross that line. It is a felony to knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien from immigration authorities. Don't test us. The nation wants a safe country. We've had enough crime in this country, illegal alien crime. It's time to end it and stop it. President Trump's committed to it. He's committed to securing this border. He's committed to having this mass deportation operation and concentrating on public safety threats and national security threats. For any mayor or governor who's going to push back on removing public safety threats from your community, that is your number one responsibility. You ought to be teaming up with us. We have created the biggest national security vulnerability in this nation on the southern border. Because like I said, 2 million known gotaways, we don't know how many unknown gotaways, already recognized.
So it is going to happen. New York City now prepping for Trump's crackdown by closing down migrant shelters. Mayor Eric Adams' administration considering closing a Brooklyn tent complex housing 2,000 migrants, fearing Trump might cancel the federal land lease or send immigration officers to the site. Here is video from Muckraker.
Biden.
Look at that. Floyd Bennett Field, Brooklyn, New York. 2,000 people max capacity. Wow.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Hey, hola.
Hey, ¿qué país tú?
Venezuela.
Venezuela, todos Venezuela.
¿Sí?
Oh, ok. ¿Y cuántos meses aquí?
No, un solo mes.
¿Y de familia tú? ¿Familia?
Ella y el bebé.
Oh, ok.
Oh, my.
Ok. Hey, ¿tu opinión de presidente Biden?
¿Tiene una opinión del presidente
Por
Biden?
apoyar migrantes aquí. Bien.
His administration is good for Venezuelans. Well, we got this guy over here. The Frederick, Maryland mayor, Michael O'Connor, declares he will use taxpayer dollars to pay the legal fees of illegal aliens. Can you believe that? You pay taxes, and now this guy is going to spend your tax money to defend people who have broken the law to come to this country. The arrogance of these people.
In many regards, this election cycle did not go as I had hoped.
In response to Trump's national immigration policies, Frederick Mayor Michael O'Connor pledging to carve out space in his local budget for a legal advocacy fund, which would use tax dollars to pay undocumented immigrants attorneys' fees as they fight deportation.
Ensuring they have the legal support they need to stand strong and remain in this community they have chosen to call home.
O'Connor explaining his intention is to allocate the money to organizations already providing similar legal services, helping them expand the number of people they're able to support, although he's still determining the exact dollar amount to set aside. Some residents we spoke with supportive of the end goal.
I believe a lot of non-immigrant people also contribute to the country as well.
But all of them against their tax dollars footing the bill.
I'm torn.
I don't like the idea. I'd rather our taxpayer money go towards American citizens.
You know, you break the law, it's just what happens. Nobody helped me pay for my attorney fees when I break the law. So why should we be paying for theirs out of taxpayer money?
But this comes at a cost. And this could be a very large cost for Frederick. And quite frankly, Frederick can't afford it.
In many regards, this...
Yeah, that's what they want to do in Maryland. How ridiculous is that? Washington Times reports that target countries are calling Trump's tariff threat counterproductive, and they are now pleading for cooperation. Epoch Times reports that the Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said on Tuesday she would seek dialogue and cooperation with President-elect Trump following his renewed threat to impose a 25% tariff on goods from both Canada and Mexico over illegal immigration and drugs. Mexico now threatening a trade war with the United States. It's like bringing a taco to a tank fight, says Stephen Miller. Our GDP is over 26 trillion. Theirs is around 1.5 trillion. Annihilation would be an understatement. Yeah. So Mexican president warning of retaliatory tariffs to Trump's latest plan. Up in Canada, the deputy prime minister responding to Trump's tariff threats. Canada is America's biggest asset. Let's listen to what she had to say.
So last night, the prime minister had a conversation with President-elect Trump. It was an opportunity to highlight the fact that the economic relationship between Canada and the United States is balanced and mutually beneficial. The fact is, we need them, and they also need us.
Let's just be clear. They need us more than we need them. Okay, America.
Is the largest market for the U.S. in the world, larger than China, Japan, the UK, and France combined. It is also the case that the things we sell to the United States are the things they really need. We sell them oil, we sell them electricity, we sell them critical minerals and metals.
But wait until we're energy independent again. We won't need to buy our oil or our electricity from Canada anymore. That's the point she's forgetting.
Energy the United States imports from Canada is more important today than ever, at a time when we see how hungry AI is for energy, and Canada's critical minerals and metals are absolutely essential as North America and as the U.S. seeks to develop supply chains which are resilient and secure.
Okay, you bore me. You bore me, lady. Okay, what else have we got going on here? Okay, we've got Border Czar Tom Homan says he's willing to throw Denver Mayor Mike Johnston in jail over his sanctuary city policies. Did you see that? We played it for the other day, but it's definitely worth playing again. I'm going to find that clip. Here he is, the Denver Mayor, Mike Johnston.
About civil disobedience, you've mentioned that a couple of times now. Would you be willing to participate in those as the mayor of Denver? Would you be willing to go out and protest these things?
I would. If I believe that our residents are having their rights violated, if I think things are happening that are illegal or immoral.
Wait. He said our residents? But what if those residents are here illegally? They came here illegally. They broke the law. See, that's the twisted logic of these people.
An American in our city, I would certainly protest it, and I would expect other residents would do the same.
Trump's new Border Czar Tom Homan has said that he is willing to arrest leaders like yourself for standing in the way of these policies that they want to enact. Would you be willing to go to jail for these things?
Yeah, I'm not afraid of that. And I'm also not seeking that. I think the goal is we want to be able to negotiate with reasonable people how to solve hard problems. Republican and Democratic presidents in the past have all tried to find solutions to these problems. President Reagan helped people get access to.
Okay, shut up, buddy. Just go to jail. Just go. Just go turn yourself in already. All right? Save everyone the trouble. We reported on this yesterday. Here's Rand Paul reacting to that Denver mayor.
He will lose. That the mayor of Denver, if he's going to resist federal law, which there's a long-standing history of the supremacy of federal law, if he's going to resist that, it will go all the way to the Supreme Court. And I would suspect that he would be removed from office. I don't know whether or not there'd be a criminal prosecution for someone resisting federal law, but he will lose. And people need to realize that what he is offering is a form of insurrection, where the states resist the federal government. Most people objected to that and rejected that long ago. So I think the mayor of Denver is on the wrong side of history, and really, I think will face legal ramifications if he doesn't obey the federal law. That the mayor of Denver.
Yeah, not a smart idea. And apparently the Department of Justice under a Trump administration, will be supportive of Tom Homan prosecuting people who are obstructing justice in sanctuary cities. Let's listen in.
Yeah, we're going to give money to DOJ. And believe me, with the new folks going in that are going to be running that in the Trump administration, they're going to be supportive, I've got to believe, of Tom Homan prosecuting people who are obstructing justice or aiding and abetting this criminal activity. And they are.
Aiding and abetting criminal activity. That is what that Denver mayor is doing. And that guy in Maryland, going to use your taxpayer dollars for defense of illegals? Come on.
What they're doing. That's what a sanctuary city is doing. And it's long overdue. And quite frankly, I've been advocating, and I know you all have too, for years, that you need to defund these sanctuary cities. If they're not going to follow the law, then why should we return federal dollars to them?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sanctuary cities are now being put on notice. Charlie Kirk reporting 6 hours ago. Donald Trump's promise to tariff Mexico, China, and Canada if they don't stop allowing drugs and illegal migrants into America shows his political brilliance and the badly needed change in approach he is bringing to American politics. America is a large and important country. 12 hours. This is the aftermath. 12-hour aftermath of Trump threatening 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico. Canada Prime Minister Justin Trudeau calls Trump to discuss border security. That's another guy, Justin Trudeau. He needs to be removed from office. Mexican President announces migrant caravans will be halted as well. And then we have, here is Trudeau. Speaking of which, he says he had a good call with Trump.
You know, bonjour tout le monde. I had a good call with Donald Trump last night again. We obviously talked about laying out the facts, talking about how the intense and effective connections between our two countries flow back and forth. We talked about some of the challenges that we can work on together. It was a good call. This is something that we can do, laying out the facts, moving forward in constructive ways. This is a relationship that we know takes a certain amount of working on, and that's what we'll do.
Fidel Castro's son there, he looks kind of nervous. I mean, after all of the garbage that he pulled in Canada, he knows that Donald Trump is the new sheriff in town.
One of the really important things is that we be all pulling together on this. The Team Canada approach is what works. That's where, putting aside partisanship, that's where I reached out immediately to Doug Ford to agree with him that we would have a First Ministers meeting this week to talk about the United States. Talked with François Legault and some other premiers as well. There's work to do, but we know how to do it.
Yeah, buckle up, buddy. Change is coming. President Trump has declared it. Here is, this is 13 hours ago. Migrants are streaming across our border before Trump gets into office. Children are arriving alone. 300,000 migrant kids are missing after the Biden-Harris administration opened the border wide for anyone to enter.
Told us his cousin cameras on scene in the pre-dawn hours as another group of more than 200 migrants were quietly smuggled across the border by cartels and human smugglers illegally entering Eagle Pass, Texas. Once again, there were more than 50 unaccompanied minors and children in this group. We talked to one teenage boy from Honduras who told us his cousin paid $6,000 to get him smuggled into the U.S. We also talked to a couple of little girls ages 7 and 10 from Guatemala. Take a listen.
¿Hija qué edad tiene? 10 añitos. ¿Y usted, mami? 7. ¿Vienen solas o vienen solas? Desde allá las mandaron. ¿Y tienen familia aquí en los Estados Unidos? Sí. ¿Dónde?
Los estados.
Pero no sabes qué estado.
De Texas.
And again, they were completely alone. And as we wait for Tom Homan and Governor Abbott to arrive here, we want to take a look back at just how frosty relations got between Texas and the Biden administration. You might remember this video last year. Border Patrol was repeatedly cutting the razor wire that Texas placed at the edge of the Rio Grande here in Eagle Pass. Texas said that was destruction of their state property. They said it was a violation of state sovereignty, but it certainly didn't stop there. Take a look at this remarkable video. Also last year, the Biden administration Border Patrol even brought out an industrial-grade forklift to raise up the Texas razor wire here in Eagle Pass and get it out of the way so masses of illegal immigrants could enter the state. Now,
look at that. Literally opening up the freaking fence line with a forklift. That is what the Biden administration did. Literally opening up the freaking hole so they could go right through. I mean, that is high treason. If you ask me, a complete dereliction of duty and a violation of the oath of office. I don't even know how this guy could still even be president of the United States at this moment. But thank God the clock is ticking and Trump is about to return. I don't even know if I want to watch any more of this.
Patrol's position at the time was they got to process migrants once they're on U.S. soil under federal law, but that move infuriated Texas. They sued DHS over it, but the Supreme Court ultimately sided with DHS and said they could remove the razor wire. Then look.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, I've been covering this stuff for like a long time, but I don't think I've ever seen that. Here is Pierre Poilievre. President Trump has the right to put his workers and nation security first.
And Canada's. Look.
He's the opposition to Trudeau.
President Trump has the right to put his workers and his nation's security first. I will put Canada's workers and Canada's security first. We need a prime minister with the strength and the smarts, the brains and the backbone to stand up for this country, to rebuild our security, our military, and our economy. That is what I will do.
I like that guy. Muckraker.com. They published this 6 hours ago. This is a highly detailed video. New York City illegal alien shelters set to be shut down. These shelters are dens of drugs, violence, and crime. They visited several New York illegal alien shelters, and what we discovered was shocking. Security guards on site spoke of stabbings, drug use, deaths, and other alarming things.
Largest sanctuary city in the United States. To handle this, numerous illegal alien compounds have been established on what was once prime New York real estate. Muckraker conducted the first ever investigation of 3 of these compounds at Randall's Island, the Row Hotel, and Floyd Bennett Field. Over the course of our investigation, we discovered open drug dealing, stories of violence and weapons inside these facilities, shocking internal reports, and much more. We also interviewed a whistleblower who formerly worked inside these facilities. This is a first ever look inside New York's illegal alien compounds.
Okay, go to their X profile, Real Muckraker, and you can watch this entire thing. It's like 26 minutes long. These guys do phenomenal work. And speaking of phenomenal work, I need to bring out something to your attention here. Terry Newsom. This was actually 6 days ago, and I'm really long overdue in presenting this to you guys. But he went on with Emerald Robinson, and what I just showed you was happening in New York. But what Terry Newsom uncovered about what's happening in Chicago, just how much tax money is being blown. Okay, he uncovered damaging information shared by the Chicago illegal shelter, a whistleblower. The guy was paid $360,000 in tax dollars just to watch illegals.
The city of Chicago has been paying gobs of tax dollars to create shelters to house illegal immigrants in the Windy City. I know the people of Appalachia and Western North Carolina would love to have some of that money for shelter. But a whistleblower from one of those facilities has shared with our friend and next guest, Terry Newsom, his concerns that your money in Chicago is not only supporting the invasion by illegals, but is also being blown on pricey no-show jobs for the people who work at these housing facilities.
Pricey no-show jobs. Oh my goodness.
Here's one of the many email exchanges between the whistleblower and Securitas, the company in charge of providing security for these facilities, in which the whistleblower was told that, quote, Securitas is not contracted with the mission, but rather the city of Chicago as a whole. As such, there is not a need for our mission staff to complete staff tracking at this time. To which the whistleblower replied, quote, the reason I created the tracker was to protect company assets. How else to know which invoices are legit and which aren't? It gets better though. According to CBS News, quote, the Chicago City Council on Thursday also voted to accept $33 million in federal funding to help cover previous and future costs of addressing the needs of migrants. These stories confirm a wider, more troubling picture of multiple blue cities, such as Chicago, spending tax dollars to give illegals housing, as well as debit and or credit cards. Joining us now is Terry Newsom. He's the host of Behind Enemy Lines podcast and the man who brought us these troubling whistleblower claims. Terry, good to see you. I mean, it's very troubling, but it's also just as we suspected, right?
Yeah, they've seemed to do a good job at trying to hide like organized crime or something, layers of how they hide this money and how it's being spent and how it starts from the federal government, is pushed through NGOs, then through the city of Chicago, then distributed amongst their friends and different consulting firms and security guard firms and food organizations that feed these illegal immigrants. And then you have the leadership who doesn't even care if they're paying the appropriate fees for these services, doesn't even care.
I just want to clarify too, and I don't know if we have it, but I believe you were also shared a disclosure from a whistleblower who revealed that they were making $1,000 a day, right, to work in one of these migrant shelters that would initially add up to a very lucrative job, $330,000 a year. It actually started as more like $360,000 a year. They reduced it by $30,000, but still, I mean, $330,000 a year for one worker is quite a price tag, Terry.
Yeah, it's crazy. So this guy worked at a mid-level shelter. There was 27 shelters. I've gotten the names of all the shelters, the names of the people who.
Sorry, what do you mean by mid-level? Just to clarify.
I think he only had 500 people at his shelter. Like some of the ones that we've covered in the past in Chicago or Pilsen had upwards of 2,000. So this is the structure that.
Okay, gotcha.
Wow. He was like the PMO, right? And he would work 12 and a half hours a day, 7 days a week. And then he would get $360,000. But after he started, they lowered it to $330,000. Then he had two project managers that worked under him. Again, there are more people that work at the larger shelters. He had one that worked morning, one that worked evening shifts. These people received $275,000 a year. Then below that, there was two operational folks one that's in charge of shelter operations, and the other one that's in charge of staffing and resources. Those individuals got $200,000 a year. So keep in mind, that doesn't account for the security guard services, which he shared, though. He put together an Excel spreadsheet to try to show the city of Chicago, hey, number one, these people aren't showing up to provide security. And I think we know how dangerous some of these shelters are, right? So this was in the beginning. And there you go. Look at the green. That's the only times they showed up in this one snapshot of what was shared with me. And then when he elevated it to getting support for Marcela Gonzalez, who's on that email, she basically said, don't worry about it. It's not your responsibility. And
oh my goodness. Wow. That's your taxpayer dollars. But see, here's the good news. This is all coming to an end. Okay, we got the inauguration ahead of us. We've got some great things to look forward to. So this madness is all coming to an end. But these tariffs have got Mexico, they've got Canada freaking out. I mean, Mexico suggesting it would impose its own tariffs to retaliate against Trump, which is ridiculous. Okay, here's the incoming Border Czar Tom Homan with the governor of Texas with Hannity.
Or state, Tom, you heard this mayor out there in Colorado. I want to get your reaction to it, and I want you to be clear about who has jurisdiction, the federal government or state and local governments. And if you're a sanctuary state or city, are you breaking the law?
You're absolutely breaking law. All you have to do is look at Arizona versus U.S. You'll see these breaking law. But look, me and the Denver mayor, we agree on one thing. He's willing to go to jail. I'm willing to put him in jail. Because there's a statute. It's Title 8 United States Code 1324 III. And what it says is, it's a felony if you knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien from immigration authorities. It's also a felony to impede a federal law enforcement officer. So if we don't want to help, that's fine. He can get the hell out of the way. But we're going to go do the job. President Trump has a mandate for American people. We got to secure this country. We got to save American lives. And I find it shocking that any mayor of a city would say, and President Trump's been clear, we want to concentrate on public safety threats and national security threats. I find it hard to believe that any mayor or governor would say they don't want public safety threats removed from their neighborhoods. I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on in Denver, but we're going to go and we're going to fix it. If he don't want to fix it, if he don't want to protect his communities, President Trump and ICE will.
Buckle up, buddy. Justice is coming. CBS News on what's to come. Reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy, deactivate the CPB-1 app, which is how they're getting around this whole asylum registration process, where you have to check in and have the asylum like at a point of entry. They can just do it on an app. Yeah, there's an app for that. The largest deportation operation in history utilized military aircraft to deport deputized National Guard to round up the illegals. The next 4 years are going to be fantastic. Here is CBS News reporting on this fact.
Appointments. Hi, Liz. Well, President-elect Trump is promising to oversee a dramatic and seismic shift in policy here at the U.S.-Mexico border. The incoming administration is pledging to reinstate policies like the Remain in Mexico program that requires migrants to await their asylum hearings on the other side of the border in Mexico and to have their cases adjudicated while they await their hearings outside of the U.S. They are also pledging to terminate several Biden administration programs, Liz, that currently allow migrants to enter the country legally, including a smartphone app that allows people in Mexico to request asylum appointments at official border crossings through that application. And importantly, of course, the incoming administration led by Tom Homan as the Border Czar designated person is also promising to oversee the largest deportation operation in American history. And Homan told us that he will try to enlist the help of the Department of Defense for this massive operation, including by trying to use military planes to deport undocumented immigrants. People like Stephen Miller, the incoming Deputy Chief of Staff, have also said that the National Guard could be deputized in friendly states to arrest and deport unauthorized immigrants. And we are actually in front of the largest Texas military base here in Eagle Pass across the Rio Grande River. And it is very likely, Liz, that the Texas National Guard could help the incoming administration carry out this massive operation.
I hope they do. Well, We need to clean house. Border Czar Tom Homan says he's willing to throw the Denver mayor, Mike Johnston, in jail over his policies. And then, of course, the Frederick, Maryland mayor, Mexico President Claudia Sheinbaum, what she just said. Oh, and here, okay, so we've also got this guy here. Doug Ford responding to Trump's threat. Listen to what he says.
Well, good morning, everyone. Last night at 6:35, we received the biggest threat we've ever received from our...
You see how he automatically characterizes what Trump says as a threat.
...closest friends and ally from President-elect Trump, that they're threatening to put a 25% tariff on all goods coming across the border into the U.S. and Mexico. What I found unfair about the comments is to compare us to Mexico. And I can tell you, Canada is no Mexico. We do approximately, just Ontario alone, $500 billion of two-way trade.
I mean, you can drink the water, too.
I found his comments unfair. I found them insulting. It's like a family member stabbing you right in the heart.
Oh, really?
Spent a lot of time in the U.S., and I have yet to talk to one American that has any issue with Canadians. We see drugs flow from Mexico, coming up through California, in through BC, into Alberta, into Ontario, and what we need to do is take that threat seriously. I had a conversation with the Prime Minister after he spoke to the President-elect.
See, that's what President Trump is trying to do. He's taking it seriously, and he's saying, I'm going to do these tariffs so you guys take it seriously. Okay? Stop just, sitting back and watching it all happen. The party's over.
Last night, the threat is serious. We need to do better on our borders. We need to give the resources to CBSA, which are fine people. And I know, talking to other premiers last night, that we will do everything we can as provincial governments and territorial governments to secure our borders.
Good. All right. So you took the threat seriously. Here is Janine Pirro.
You know that. What I want to talk about is the fact that this isn't Hollywood. And I love you, Harold. You know that.
God, better get out that Tom Cruise jacket and put a suit on.
Tom Homan is not overdoing it. And America has waited for someone like Tom Homan for a long time. And it's, I think, 3/4. It's more than 70%. Almost 75% of Americans think that Donald Trump has to prioritize these deportations. And when Tom Homan talks about 8 U.S.C. Code 1324, Section 3, where an alien has come or entered or remains in the United States in violation of the law, and you conceal, harbor, or shield them from detection, or you can attempt to do the same, you are guilty of a felony. So this guy who's dancing around the mayor of Denver, I mean, he's a joke. This is all going to end. He's trying to get some attention because that guy right there on the screen is dead serious. He's going to have a Department of Justice with Pam Bondi who's going to be able to back it up. They're going to have the legal force to be able to do it. Now, let's talk about the fact that apparently China has had a death penalty for drug dealers. And apparently they've refused to make good on that death penalty statute. And Donald Trump is saying, you know what, if you're not going to use it, then we're going to add 10% on your goods as well. Now, I don't claim to be as knowledgeable on tariffs as you guys. I don't really care. What I care about is within 2 hours, Trudeau jumps, and this woman, the new Prime Minister or President of Mexico, is jumping. Nobody wants to lose the United States, okay? Nobody wants to lose the power, the money that we give away, and everything else. But I think that there's something significant. This is my last point, Dana, is that we get 60% of our crude oil from Canada. All right. Now, if the United States is going to be energy independent again, we have an even tougher negotiating stance with Canada because we're not going to need as much of that crude oil when we start doing our own dance here.
It's exactly what I said. Because when we become energy independent again, We don't need them anymore. So we have a stronger position. Oh boy. Yeah, this is all happening, folks. The party's over. Get ready for tariffs. Get ready for the deportations. Yeah, I posted this. I said, oh no, Mexico cutting off trade? How will we ever survive without all the avocados and tequila? Meanwhile, they'll just lose access to $265 billion worth of U.S. goods like machinery, vehicles, and electronics. Sounds like a winning strategy for us. Bring it on. Yeah, they think they can strong arm us, but no, we've got it all. We have more power. The Appalachian Podcast. If your mayor is openly admitting his willingness to break the law in order to protect everyone but his own citizens no less, you have every right to remove him. This is an absolute slap in the face to the people of Frederick, Maryland, and they should not stand for this at all. The party's over. They know it. And we're here for it. So here's the reality, folks. The battle for America's borders has begun. Trump is not even in office yet. But the 25% tariff threat, well, it's not just about economics, it's about survival. Mexico and Canada can either help secure our borders or watch their economies crumble. Meanwhile, rogue mayors playing sanctuary city games are about to learn what law enforcement really means. Now, before we move on, here is what I want to know from you in the comments. Should sanctuary city mayors face federal charges for harboring illegal aliens? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And speaking of taking a stand, have you seen our exclusive MAGA Avengers collection at the Next News Network merch shop? Yes, it has just dropped and it's flying off the shelves, so show the world you stand for secure borders and American sovereignty. Visit shop.nextnewsnetwork.com now before these limited edition pieces are gone. And I'll see you in the comments. All right, folks. What have we got here? I saw some super chats at the onset of the show, so I want to address those. Quite a few have come in. Fishman, he says, just a contribution to a good man. Thanks, Gary. Happy Turkey Day to you and your family. Well, thank you, Fishman. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Big Louie in the house. Big Louie 7576. Thanks for telling us the truth. Well, Big Louie, thank you for those $5 over at Rumble. And Faranger Xbox says, AOC got me banned on X and Facebook. I need to tell Donald J. Trump. Well, Donald J. Trump loves the Next News Network. He watches the show. So, Faranger Xbox, I'm sure he's watching now and sees your message. And then we have Pothead Kenny. What's up, Pothead Kenny? He says, Gary, can I do a video with you without reports, but with feelings about past, present, and now 100% Yeppers? And the praying emoji. Well, Pothead Kenny, just upload it to your X account. And maybe you'll get on the show. All right. We also have another super chat that came in. This is from Earl Lucky, $9.99. Almost a whole $10. Thank you, Earl, for that. And it's a super sticker, pair character bowing down saying thank you. Well, Earl, we thank you. You keep this show going. And looks like we got another super chat that just came in from Lavender Rose. And Lavender says, California lady here, please get ours. I never voted for them. Please get ours. Ours what? Oh, you mean, like, who are we talking about? Get our what? Need some clarity on that, Lavender. Thank you. That is your 10th super chat on our live stream. Thank you so much. How beautiful. Everyone give Lavender Rose and all of our super chatters a big round of applause in the comments because they keep this show going, and we couldn't do it without everyone's support. Okay, we've got some more news to jump into, and it's rather important stuff because it's all game changing. What's happening right now is game changing. Oh wait, we got another super chat. This is from Mountain Goddess. What's up, Mountain Goddess? Dropping a super sticker, and it's $2. Thank you for that. I love my Trumpy bear. Thank you, Mountain Goddess. We are now at $28.99. Are we going to break 30? Can we break $30 on this stream today? I think we can. Okay, let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, the media landscape that you've known is about to be obliterated. Donald Trump Jr. just dropped a bombshell that's sending shockwaves through newsrooms all across America. The White House press corps, that bastion of legacy media propaganda, is facing total reconstruction. Joe Rogan, Megyn Kelly, and real journalists are set to replace the old guard. Meanwhile, CNN and MSNBC can't even beat the Hallmark Channel in ratings. This isn't just a changing of the guard, it is a complete demolition of the propaganda machine, and we're about to show you exactly how Trump's team plans to revolutionize how Americans get their news from the White House. Now, if you're feeling weak and powerless against mainstream media lies, well, it's time to boost your strength like the independent media is boosting truth. And that's why I trust Sculpt Nation Test Boost. Just as alternative media is breaking the legacy news monopoly, Test Boost breaks through your body's barriers to peak performance. While fake news outlets lose viewers daily, you'll be gaining strength, energy, and vitality. Join the millions who've discovered this natural solution to declining testosterone. Don't let the mainstream media or low T control your life. Go to sculptnation.com/NNN now and save 51% off of your first order. Okay. Now, you watch the show. You recognize where we harvest all of the news that we bring you. We spend many, many hours collecting and organizing. Well, Scott Jennings over on CNN, he is now a new favorite, especially after the election and leading up to the election. But he had this really beautiful moment that has gone viral. Just this post alone has over 527,000 hits. Scott Jennings says X is the most ideologically balanced platform. But he says it to the CNN panel. And watch the meltdown.
I heard what you're saying about X. I saw a survey this week. It's now the most ideologically balanced user platform.
Scott,
of any platform.
stop. It's too early. I just sat down. I've only been here for 2 minutes.
You cannot continue to say
the show, but you cannot say that.
So,
That's not the case. Who's the source of that?
What I find, we reported it on this network.
Look at this. The party ID among the...
What's your source? What's your source of that? My source is CNN.
who regularly use X/Twitter for news. Back in 2022, 65% of those who regularly use Twitter/X for news were Democrats. Just 31% were Republicans. Look at where we are today. Just a completely different picture. Now it's basically split between Democrats at 48%, Republicans at 47%. And what I should note, Mr. Berman, is this new overall makeup matches the overall electorate far better.
I heard what you're saying about X. I saw a survey this week.
I just love it.
It's now the most ideologically balanced user platform.
Scott,
of any platform.
stop. It's too early. I just sat down. I've only been here for 2 minutes.
You cannot
continue to say
the show, but
you cannot say that.
So,
That's not the case. Who's the source of that?
Who's your source? Who's your source? Oh, it's CNN. And speaking of fake news, this just popped about 5 hours ago. Fake news. MSDNC says it's okay to cut off family members during the holiday for voting for Trump. Really?
You are going...
That's how sick these people are. They don't care. Family means nothing to these people. And here, watch.
recommend just from a psychological standpoint, being around them? We got the holidays coming up.
So I love that you asked this question because, you know, there is a push, I think just a societal norm that if somebody is your family, that they are entitled to your time. And I think the answer is absolutely not. So if you are going into a situation where you have family members, where you have close friends who you know have voted in ways that are against you, like what you said, against your livelihood. Wow. And it's completely fine to not be around those people and to tell them why, you know, to say, I have a problem with the way that you voted because it went against my very livelihood and I'm not going to be around you this holiday. I need to take some space for me. And I actually talked to, you know, adults as well as advising parents for children. I mean, I think, you know, I don't think that you should force children. I don't think you should force adults to be around people just because they're your family. I think there's a level of, you know, need to establish boundaries. And if you feel like you need to establish boundaries with people, whether they're your family or not, I think you should very much be entitled to do so. And I think it may be essential for your mental health.
Essential for your mental health to cut off family members. For years, this is from DC Drano. He posted this amazing insight. For years, we have steadily built a MAGA social media ecosystem to bolster our movement. Now, I've been building this YouTube channel since 2012. Okay? Now, DC Drano, he's not on YouTube. He's prominent on X. A lot of these people he's talking about are dozens of influencers with over 5 million followers, hundreds with over 1 million followers. Tens of millions of digital soldiers hellbent on taking back our country who reach thousands every day. When the deep state took over major media organizations, we knew we had nobody speaking for we the people. So we created our own media. And Elon Musk's purchase of X has truly unleashed our strength. So strong that we've taken the White House, Congress, and the Supreme Court, and soon will fix our election systems, protect free speech, and cripple the globalist war machine. Democrats are finally waking up to what we've built, but it's too late. The American people are slow to rise, but once they do, they are an unstoppable force. Bad news for the deep state. We have arisen. And that is the exact reason why I built this channel so many years ago. And speaking of warriors, Alex Jones' InfoWars is a topic we've been tracking here. Well, the Onion's bid for Alex Jones' InfoWars is now hanging in the balance as a judge has ordered a new hearing. So, yeah, all that talk of the Onion taking InfoWars was just fake news. And the Washington Post, yeah, the legacy media is dying. Doom spiral. The liberal Washington Post is on track to lose a whopping $77 million this year. And we played this the other day, but it is worth repeating because it is solid gold. One of my favorite podcasts. I don't listen to many podcasts, but one of my favorite podcasts is Patrick Bet-David's podcast. And I'll never forget meeting him at Mar-a-Lago when he told me that his father watches the Next News Network. I thought that was so crazy. When he saw me with all my glasses, he's like, "Hey, Franchi." And he's like, "Hey, don't you normally wear glasses?" I mean, he recognized me with all my glasses on. So that just goes to show, I mean, Patrick Bet-David watches the Next News Network also. Anyway, enough of that. But this is what he said, roasting CNN and MSNBC.
Folks, imagine you're CNN and MSNBC. You're at a point that you're okay losing to Fox. You're at a point that you're okay losing to Rogan. You're at a point that you may even okay losing to other podcasters, right? You know, election night, some people are putting more numbers than you are. We did that on election night. You're like, listen, those guys are amateurs. We're pros. We built the Titanic. The amateurs are building the Joe Rogan Experience, the PVD podcast, all this other stuff. But these are amateurs. But imagine you wake up one day and your producer comes to you and says, guys, what? Hallmark just beat us. Bro, what are you talking about? Hallmark just beat us. Tell me nobody's written that article yet. Bro, they wrote it already. That's bullshit. No. Hallmark? They make cards. Give them a Hallmark. Hallmark beat CNN and MSNBC in viewership last week.
No way.
Here's a supersized guide to rating in all 32 new holiday films. Can you imagine that?
Man.
How do you let Hallmark beat you? You can let a lot of people beat you. You cannot let Hallmark beat you. We're talking about practice, right? We're talking about Hallmark. We cannot be talking about Hallmark here, right? I mean, you understand
practice.
what
Okay, so I bring all this up because there is a massive revolution that is taking place. And we covered this the other day. And of course, we have this Elon Musk confirming plans to buy MSNBC. Joe Rogan made Elon an offer nobody could refuse. And Joe Rogan said, if you buy MSNBC, I'd like to take Rachel Maddow's job. We'll wear the same outfit and glasses, and I will tell the same lies. Elon Musk says it is a deal. Okay, so I'm building up to this because now we have this. This just happened. Donald Trump Jr. tells Michael Knowles his dad may remove mainstream media from the White House press room.
Seats. So, but I wonder now, as your father is assembling his team, as maybe Caroline Leavitt is looking at the new press briefing room chart, maybe it's time to reorder that chart and maybe take away some people's seats.
So we're going to break some news here because I literally had this conversation. I was flying back. I was on the plane, I guess, with my father. I think it was coming back from the SpaceX launch with Elon last week, and I was sitting there. And we were talking about like the podcast world and some of our friends and Rogan and guys like you and, me to a lesser extent, I wouldn't be able to get a seat. That would be nepotism or whatever the hell, I'd be indicted again. I'd have to do more congressional testimony. So I'll pass. But we actually had this conversation about like, given how the media has behaved. I mean, you brought up the New York Times. You saw the fact check of Bobby Kennedy talking about the different ingredients in Fruit Loops. And it was like, no, it's exactly the same as Canada, except we use yellow dye number 5 here instead of like orange, like carrots. And we use purple dye number 2,376 instead of blueberry extract. And I'm like, that's your fact check? Like, it's the same, but for these like really toxic chemicals that are banned in, dozens of countries. Like, I don't get it. But we had the conversation about opening up the press room to a lot of these independent journalists. Like, why should, if the New York Times has lied, they've been adverse to everything, they're functioning as the marketing arm of the Democrat Party, like, why not open it up to people who have larger viewerships, stronger followings? Like, it's not like the New York, I mean, how much money are they losing a year? The Washington Post, lost 70 to 45 to $70 million, doesn't seem like they're a great success. So just because they've been there longer, it's like the way Congress functions. Like, you get a committee, not because you know anything about banking, but because you've been there longer. And it's like,
right.
Doesn't seem like a great way to do things. So we've had that conversation. Like, that's a great idea, Don. I was like, I think we should do this. And so that may be in the works. Let's see. That's going to blow up some heads. So, we'll see.
So the conversations are being had. And there's a reason that these conversations are being had. And I'm going to bring it back to what was said. This is back in October. Okay? General Mike Flynn, a podcast presidency? General Mike Flynn said October 28th, I think it's time to include podcasters in the White House press room. With their unique perspective and abilities to engage audiences, podcasters bring a fresh perspective to reporting. Legacy media is irrelevant today. Watch this.
Because, I'll kind of dub it, although I didn't coin it. I'll dub this the podcast presidency. And I actually would love to see Donald Trump win. And then, in the White House press room, I want him to remove the whole front row of the major news networks and put like the top podcasters, Seth Holhouse right there, front row, right? I mean, Joe Rogan, if he wants to be there, right? Glenn Beck, Tucker Carlson, because this is the new medium. This is how we're communicating. I'll kind of dub it, although I didn't coin it.
So
I'll dub this.
That was October 28th, but it goes back even further. All right. Now, as I'm going to get to that in a second, but this was posted. The legacy media literally lies about everything important to the American people. They serve as a propaganda arm of the woke Democrats. They're both insane and tyrannical. Most of our media favors censorship. They are enemies of the people. And that's what Donald Trump has been saying. He's been saying it for a long time. And of course, you have Brian Stelter. He's freaking out. Okay. Croxed out. I don't know about you, but the thought that something makes Brian Stelter fret is enough of a good reason for Elon Musk to buy MSNBC. So he's freaking out over the idea that Elon Musk is about to buy MSNBC. And then, of course, we have Alec Baldwin. All right, this is how out of touch the entertainment, the media elite are. He says Americans are really uninformed about reality. No, you're out of touch, sir.
People can learn in my country without going into significant detail. Half the people in the country are happy, and half the people in the country are very unhappy. It's a very difficult time in the United States, and I think the only way people can learn what is happening, and film is unique in this way, not only what's happening in the United States, but around the world. What's happening, you might not learn from the news. Television news in the United States is a business. They have to make money. And again, not to go into great detail about that, but there's a hole, there's a vacuum. There is a gap, if you will, in information for Americans.
Oh, and Alec, pardon me for interrupting, but we are filling that gap because there is a vacuum. I said that 20 years ago in my first studio. I said there is a vacuum in the mainstream media, and I intend to fill that vacuum. I said that 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And here we are, millions of subscribers later. This channel has had over, I think we're approaching 2 billion views on the Next News Network. So, but our work is not done. Our work is far from over. Let's continue with this lunatic.
Very uninformed about reality, what's really going on with climate change, Ukraine, Israel, you name it, all the biggest topics in the world. Americans have an appetite for a little bit of information. That vacuum is filled by the film industry, not just the independent film industry, not just the documentary film industry, which are very important around the world.
The vacuum is filled by the entertainment industry? Really, dude?
But by narrative films as well, where the filmmakers have the...
Okay, enough of you, Alec Baldwin. Okay, we're gonna get to the whole point of this here in a minute. Oh, I lost my display. 1 second. Let me get that reconnected here. And are we back? Okay, we're back. Okay. So okay, this is all huge. Wall Street Mav, the legacy news media operates as the White House Correspondents Association and controls the seating assignments in the press briefing room. Why? Tradition. The WHCA has no official rights or ownership to anything. Presidents simply allow this. They just allow it. It's just been, grandfathered in over many years. Donald Trump Jr. saying Trump may remove the mainstream media. And so this is the new press secretary, Carolyn Leavitt. And Alec Lay says that this is the worst possible press secretary choice for the fake news media. 2 minutes of her demolishing an ABC News anchor. Remember, she's going to be the one taking over for KJP.
We're hoping he want to talk about violence against political opponents. Let's talk about the fact that Democrats have been labeling President Trump a threat to democracy for the better half of 10 years. Let's talk about how they have compared him to Hitler, one of the worst mass murderers in the history of the world, and that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden weaponized the court system and the justice system in this country against Donald Trump in an attempt to imprison him. He sat through a courthouse for 7 weeks this past year, and the Democrats were hoping he would go to jail for it. That is real political violence that has led to 2 heinous assassination attempts on President Trump's life that, by the grace of God, he was able to escape, and he is here with us today. So yes, President Trump knows a little bit about political violence because he's experienced it himself. And talking about the tragic realities of war that Liz Cheney and her father, Dick Cheney, have got this country into is not political violence. It's talking about the reality of the foreign conflicts that the Washington, D.C. establishment have sold out young Americans to for decades.
Boom! Boom! smoked. I cannot wait to see her at the podium in the White House press room. I mean, of course, she's easier on the eyes than, say, Alex Jones. But I know Alex Jones. I just pray that maybe he would just make a guest appearance. Please, Donald, Mr. President, Don Jr., hear my plea. All right? This is the plea of the people. Let Alex Jones make a guest appearance and take over that press room for just one day. It would be the most glorious moment in White House history. Please, I beg of you, hear me. Okay. All right. I'm getting to the point here. All right? So stick with me. All right? So now if you don't believe me, this was actually, the Daily Mail published this. Trump plots stunning White House briefing shakeup that's set to change the media landscape forever. Charlie Kirk, Don Jr. revealed on his Rumble show Triggered that President Trump is considering a massive White House press briefing room shakeup. This is actually happening. It's all in the works. It's happening behind the scenes. But here's a woman, okay? She lays it out. She explains why her main sources of information are social media and podcasts. I'm laying a foundation here, my friends. Laying a foundation. Let's listen.
I'm appalled. I'm appalled at CNN. I just pulled into the parking lot of the gym. I have a 40-minute drive here. So what I've been trying to do over the last, 3-4 months is on my way here for 20 minutes, I listen to Fox News. For 20 minutes, I listen to CNN News because I have found you cannot get the accurate truth from either one, to be very honest. But I want to hear what one side is saying and what the other side is saying. Back in the day, I'm showing my age, I'm 59, there used to be journalists. I have now decided they don't even exist anymore because they just come on and spout what they believe in completely. You used to never, I'm showing my age, but you used to never know what that person reporting the news believed on it. They were just saying this is what happened, and they would have one side maybe talk about it versus the other side, and you had a conversation about it. We all know that doesn't happen anymore. Over the last few years, I didn't even realize I was doing this. I quit watching the news. I quit watching it because of that. It was kind of disgusting because I'm like, I don't even know whether to believe what they're saying. So I started searching out news in other places. Podcasts became huge to me. I listen to a ton of podcasts in the car because I have a long drive everywhere. I also heard a lot on social media. I hear a lot on TikTok. I've learned a lot on TikTok. So on my way here, I listened for 20 minutes to Fox News in the car, and they were talking about Title IX. I found it really interesting. I want to do a little more research. I turned it over to CNN. I have a certain spot in the road where I know I need to turn it over to CNN. There was someone named Jim Acosta. I don't even know who this is. Jim Acosta said that Don Jr. yesterday said that they were going to change up the White House briefing room. And I went, oh, I wonder what that means. And he said basically the people who usually are on the front row or whatever, I guess they're assigned seats, which kind of makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense, but CNN's there, Fox is there, ABC, CBS, all those. He's going to change that all up, and he's inviting in podcasters, or he's planning to invite podcasters in, and I don't know, social media people. Initially, I have to tell you, when I was driving and I heard that, I was like, oh, that's fantastic. That's great. That was my reaction, because that's where I'm getting my news from. Instead, what does Jim Acosta say? He says they're going to invite lackeys in, and he used some other words I don't even know what they are. Basically, I walked away with the impression that he thought they were uneducated, didn't know what they were talking about. Then he goes on to say, I don't know why he decides to say this, but he says he covered Trump's first presidency, and Trump was a person who did not serve the people, he served himself, and that was his downfall of his first presidency. This is why I don't watch the news. CNN, what a horrible look. These are supposed to be journalists. I now know he hates Trump. He thinks very poorly of anyone who is not in mainstream media. Get with it. I'm 59 and I even know podcasts are kind of where it's at right now. Social media is where it's at right now. People are getting their news from these locations because we can't trust you, because you say stuff like this. It was disgusting. I mean, I just want to go in and work out, and I'm sitting here on TikTok blowing up about it, and I don't even talk about politics on TikTok. What's going on? Does anyone else feel this way? Is it just me? I mean, are you over this mainstream media stuff?
Oh, yes, we are over it. Okay? So, the first two rows of the new White House press corps should be independent journalists. Put the legacy media in the back of the room, standing room only. They've lost their privilege to be up front. They need to earn that back. Oh, and remember these moments here? Yeah. Here we go. This is what we're going to be seeing very soon.
Between you people, don't talk to me that way. You're just a lightweight. Don't talk to me that way. Don't talk to. I'm the president of the United States. Don't ever talk to the president that way. Go ahead, take the. Well, I'll give you voters. I will give you voter suppression. You just have to sit down, please. Sit down. I didn't call you. I didn't call you. I didn't call you. Okay, question? Yeah, go ahead. Sure. She's shocked that I picked her. No. It's like in a state of shock.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. I know you're not thinking. You never do.
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
Oh, yes, the reckoning is coming. And did you guys hear that Caitlin Collins? Caitlin Collins is actually now going to be taking Jim Acosta's role. That's going to be something else. I think we have a point on that. Oh, we have, here it is. Here it is. Yeah, the new Jim Acosta. She's already shown she's rude and a Trump hater. Should Trump deny these left-wing media activists White House press credentials? Caitlin Collins named CNN's chief White House correspondent. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to witness. Caitlin Collins has been named CNN's chief White House correspondent. But we are the media now. As ex-media, everyone on here has a moral responsibility to tell the truth during the Trump administration to counter the lies that Caitlin Collins, Jim Acosta, Jake Tapeworm, and any other legacy media that's out there. This is our job now. This is what we do. Yes, we push back. That's all we've been doing. Next News Network has been pushing back against the likes of Jim Acosta and Caitlin Collins for years. But, and then we have this. Do you hear this? Again, another Hollywood actor, Sharon Stone. I think her most famous role was when she, crossed her legs in Basic Instinct. Yeah, that's what she's really known for. But she says that you are ignorant and stupid.
Adolescence. Italy has seen fascism. Italy has seen these things. You guys, you understand what happens. You have seen this before. My country is in its adolescence. Adolescence is very arrogant. Adolescence thinks it knows everything. Adolescence is naive and ignorant and arrogant. And we are in our ignorant, arrogant adolescence.
Wow.
We haven't seen this before in our country. So Americans who don't travel, who 80% don't have a passport, who are uneducated, are in their extraordinary naivete.
Wow.
What I can say is that the only way that we can help with these issues is to help each other.
So is that your idea of helping is by calling everyone ignorant because they're not well-traveled like you, Sharon? Unreal.
Now, we can't just say that women should help women because that's the only way we have survived so far.
Okay, I've had enough of her. Let's get to the point. Because the legacy media is dying. We are the media now. Carolyn Leavitt, the worst possible press secretary choice for the fake news media, is about to take over the press room. But I'm getting to the point because it's really Chanel Rion of One America News we have to thank for this. She is the reason. Okay? During Trump's first term, she fought to get into that press room. And Donald Trump let her in so she could cover honestly what is happening in there. They treated her so badly. They should have just been nice to her. But you know what? They weren't. And she fought back. And she started her own White House Correspondents Association. All right? I know we played this before in a previous report, but this is the foundation of all that we're seeing right now. Okay, because this clip here that was posted to her X account, it was cross-posted on other X accounts, went mega viral. I mean, our own YouTube video on this went viral as well. So the narrative has been saturated and seeded. And that is exactly why you just saw Don Jr. talking about it when he was with Elon Musk and they were watching the SpaceX launch last week. Okay? It's because of our work. It's because of people on X sharing the message that it gets and saturates and gets all the way to the top, because we're putting the narrative out there. And it is the work of Chanel Rion that we have to thank for this. I want you guys to hear her story. Now, if you've heard it before, listen to it again. Because you know how, like, when you watch a movie the second time, you always catch different things, you catch new things. That's what I want you to do as we watch this together.
Congress did pass. It's time to deconstruct the White House briefing room. This is both a call to action and a step behind the scenes to a story that has never been told until now. So here's the condensed version. The White House Correspondents Association, a 501c3 founded by a bunch of top hat and cane 1913 Wilsonian old boys, and by the way, no girls allowed for decades, has operated on the White House grounds and tyrannically controlled the White House briefing room without any legal standing. They charge thousands to use those green tents outside. Pay to play. Donate and you may get a tent or even a seat inside the briefing room. That would be like you and me setting up a booth in front of the Lincoln Memorial and not only charging visitors to look at the memorial, but deciding who actually gets to see it. How long do you think it would take before the authorities showed up to escort us off the premises? So here we have a 501c3 controlling the activities on federal property. I saw firsthand, too, how scared everyone was of this cartel. No one had the guts to stand up to the WHCA. You see, the White House Correspondents Association dictates who sits inside the briefing room. They decide which outlets go into the Oval Office or travel with the president. Under what authority does the WHCA operate? Congressional approval? A White House agreement? A decree from some president long ago? Are they an official branch of the White House press office? Well, the DOJ answered this one. Zip, zed, nada. The WHCA, the White House Correspondents Association, is a no-jurisdiction private club acting like it's some federal agency protected by God himself. No, it exists out of tradition and because they say so and they're bullies. But you know, Congress did pass a law eliminating the practice of a monopoly. And that's exactly what the White House Correspondents Association is. So in April 2020, I founded the National White House Correspondents Association to counteract the WHCA. I drafted a memo. The press secretary at the time ran my long-form 60-pager past White House General Counsel. And they affirmed the White House Correspondents Association has zero legal standing. Ah, yes, the "we've always done it" authority clause. Yet, with no standing and this unchallenged monopoly, the White House Correspondents Association has used that press briefing room to peddle the DNC platform, and they've used it as a cudgel with which to beat and bully Trump's press secretaries and his representatives, and his entire Trump agenda. They beat and bullied me. I was the lone pro-America First reporter and doubly insulting for them, a minority female. But despite their every attempt to keep me from accessing Trump and Kayleigh, I was graciously invited by the White House and made to stand in the back of the room. WHCA members left nasty grams on my desk, vandalized my workspace, blocked me in the briefing room, roped me off in the corner, cursed me on live TV, cut my internet cables, taped up my wooden chair. I then announced NWHCA's formation, the National White House Correspondents Association. And the White House Correspondents Association sent me a cease and desist letter. I ignored them. They did nothing. They were, of course, petrified I would expose their little secret. The not-so-great WHCA, I wrote in my memo to the White House, is not legally more than a tiny and ostensibly nonprofit Section 501c3 organization with about $350,000 in annual revenue and 0 employees. This puts the financial seriousness of the failing WHCA on revenue parity with a failing Subway sandwich store. Problem was, the Trump White House was in the midst of re-election. I was told the status quo would remain until the second inauguration. So I announced my organization and I waited. But empowered by my research, I struck a deal with the White House and with OAN's funding, built a tent on the White House North Lawn, a tent that would be home for all us so-called riffraff. The White House Correspondents Association lost their minds, but they had no jurisdiction, no authority to stop it. And when Biden took office, they tried to take the tent. Secret Service came to my rescue. I call it affectionately the Alamo. It stands for this day, a symbol of press freedom. The White House home for One America News and all National White House Correspondents Association members, current and future. Boy, do I have stories about that tent. But I digress. So yesterday, Axios published this pearl-clutching scoop that Team Trump plans to shake up the briefing room by giving conservative media access to the White House. But, Axios points out, there's solace. At least the White House Correspondents Association can gatekeep the briefing room seats to keep out the riffraff. How cute Axios and the WHCA think they have that power. It's, of course, like them, fake news, but only if Trump's next press office has the guts to recognize they don't have this power. Deconstruct that briefing room. Make it reflect the new media faces that so decisively shamed the legacy outlets in their numerical irrelevance. The new media reflect the American people, not the elite martini olive snarfing Yamiche Alcindors or Jim Acostas. In my letter from April 2020 to the White House, I added the importance of new media, as illustrated by Trump himself. President Trump has proven how effective are direct-to-America communications and has shown internet media and streaming are the future of communications in a modern presidency. No middlemen, no broadcasting licenses, no cable carriage disputes. The filter is gone. New media dominate. Truer now than it was back then. I also pointed out this ugly secret. The WHCA's IRS Form 990 shows the salary machine truth. A salary maker dipping disproportionately into a meager revenues of a nonprofit, funded by big media donors sponsoring a single and untidy annual joke dinner, attracting a crowd of look-at-me Hollywood has-beens and hangers-on who provide the correspondence dinner with a leering and leftist audience who attend to try diminishing the presidency and conservatism with puerile humor and potty-grade humorists. President Trump rightly and tastefully refuses to attend or dignify this alcohol-drenched pomposity. Assuredly, the National White House Correspondents Association will host its own correspondents' dinner that will honor and celebrate the presidency. This was 4 years ago. Biden took the presidency, and it was clear that Biden's press office was not interested in press freedom. Oh, no. So my ideas for equalizing the press room and pool duties associated was put on pause. The Biden press office and the WHCA were honeymooning in holier-than-thou delirium. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, Steve Bannon, OAN, each of us alone have more viewers at any given hour than any
Next news network.
These legacy rats have in an entire day. And if real journalism was the goal, they showed just how incapable of that they were these last 4 years. Covering for the Biden family hospice and propping up pill-popping Kamala. These people need to come clean. Admit what they are. They are partisan pawns. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. I love diversity of thought. Just be honest about it.
Yeah.
And don't hog the room with your unjustified girth. Perhaps now we might have an attorney general and an FBI director who can find out how much the WHCA has financially gained from the taxpayers' White House. Perhaps we'll have a press office in the White House with the guts to stand up to them. The future of media is an exciting one. It's filled not with the pale left cult miscreants of the WHCA, but by the beautiful diversity that is true new media. Liberal opinions count, but not enough to suffocate the Brady press room. They're wrong for a modern White House, and the tasks the WHCA currently monopolize are not theirs to wield. It is the president's and his press offices alone. Time to make the old boys of the WHCA go stand in the corner this round. It's time to deconstruct the White House briefing room.
Yes, my friends, this is what is happening. And even Caroline Leavitt, who is the new appointed press secretary, already getting attacked by the Washington Post. The reporter doing gymnastics to try to sow division and blame President Trump for something he admits in his email has no trace to him whatsoever. So, friends, we are standing on the precipice of a media revolution that we have never seen before. Now, this next administration is going to be groundbreaking in every way. I mean, just the Doge alone, which I'm like really excited about. And I'm tracking everything they're doing. That alone is going to cut so much waste out of the government. But the fact that now new media is finally going to have its day, and the conversations are being had at the highest levels with Don Jr. and his father, says it all. So buckle up, my friends. Buckle up, because these next 4 years are going to be absolutely amazing. And we're going to probably have to hire a White House press correspondent at some point. Trump reportedly considering cutting out mainstream media from press room in favor of independents like Joe Rogan. Think about that for a moment. It is going to be groundbreaking. This is the seating assignment. White House press briefing room assignment. At the top, you have NBC News in the front row. NBC News, Fox News, CBS News, AP, ABC, Reuters, and CNN. Second row, Wall Street Journal, CBS News, Bloomberg, NPR, Washington Post, New York Times, and USA Today. Now, the red color there represents the leaning of the organization. And if you look, that means they're conservative leaning. That's Fox News. You got one in that whole 2 rows. And the next one eventually shows up at the Daily Mail, 4 rows back. And then at the very, very back, you've got Daily Caller, EWTN, and then Salem Radio, Fox Business, Fox Radio. Those are the only conservative-leaning members in the press pool right now. Think about that for a second. But that front row is going to change. And I pray to God that Don Jr. and Chanel Rion and Donald Trump shake this up, because it's happening. The conversations are being had. So the message is clear. The days of the fake news controlling the narrative are over. When Caroline Leavitt takes that podium at the as press secretary, she's not just facing reporters, she's facing down decades of established media corruption. The front row will not be filled with CNN and MSNBC anymore. It will be packed with journalists who actually report the truth. So here's what I want to know from you. Which independent journalists would you like to see in the White House press briefing room? Drop your suggestions in the comments below. Don Jr., Chanel Rion, Donald Trump, they watch this channel, so they'll see your comments. And speaking of independents, our new Magavengers collection has dropped at the Next News merch shop. These limited edition pieces feature our Magavengers design. It's already causing meltdowns in newsrooms across America. So head to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com because just like real journalism, these won't last very long. Wow. I am excited for this moment. I really am. And we have some super chats we have to get to. Guinevere dropping $50. Wow, Guinevere. Thank you so much. This is, I believe, Guinevere's first super chat. Giant pear character waving flags and turning around, making the buildings in front of him tremble. Thank you. And Millie Lopez also dropping $19.99. Thank you, Millie Lopez. Sincerely, thank you. We've also got Guinevere also dropping another $3 here. Okay, thank you. Sheba Dog moves his arms saying goodbye. Oh, no. Did you leave, Guinevere? You didn't get a chance for me to... You didn't get a chance? I'm sorry. Well, we can't always present these during our segments, but Guinevere, we thank you sincerely. And we also have Dark Deception dropping $3. Sheba Dog raising his arm to greet someone, asking, how's it going? And then Mountain Goddess. So I did present Mountain Goddess's message because it was related to the topic. That might happen occasionally. Mountain Goddess, $10. If it wasn't for you, Gary, and others like you, many would not know the truth. How does it feel to overtake the media elites? It's our turn to show the world what's really going on. Well, Mountain Goddess, it's funny you should bring that up. I didn't have this prepared, but I was talking with Brian about this today, or maybe it was yesterday, that during the 2016 election, before there was all kinds of algorithmic manipulation, this channel was the number one channel online over everybody. Okay. It had more views than Alex Jones, more views than the Young Turks, more views than the White House, Hillary Clinton, than anybody. We had more. That's according to Tubular Labs. I'm sad I don't have that image. Maybe I can bring it up in another video, but we were the number one. But then, of course, they manipulated the algorithm and they suppressed the content. So, is Guinevere still here? I hope she's still here. Got a chance to see me reading her message. So, Mountain Goddess, you know, we've been doing this for so long. So how does it feel to overtake the media elites? Well, I've had that feeling before, back in 2016. But now this feels different because the White House press room is where all that messaging comes out of, and having real podcasters, YouTubers, influencers in that room to ask the questions and present the truth rather than just these attack dog scenarios like you have with Jim Acosta, the things he was doing. I mean, it feels really good. So this is actually next level. Okay, because back in 2016, we were ahead of the game, ahead of everybody. We caught everybody off guard. But now this is a different level. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. And Mike's son, dropping $1.99. There is a rival White House press organization now. Yes, Mike. And that is Chanel Rion's organization. And we just brought that up. So, very excited. Carrie Ray says, you should be there. Well, we will see what happens. We will see what happens. Like I said, we'll have to, you know, we have to stabilize the financial situation here, because being demonetized for 22 months has been like a devastating situation for us. And we are digging out of a hole. It's a big hole, and it's a deep one. Once everything gets stabilized and we can figure out where, you know, we can count on our financials, then we could explore employing somebody to go to that White House press room and act on our behalf, publish content on our behalf. So it's something that we look forward to doing. It's on my radar. And of course, none of this is going to happen until after Trump takes the White House in January 20th. So, but we can certainly work towards that. You know, we could put the word out, try to find someone, get the ducks in a row beforehand. So just got to find the right person. Yes, we do. Okay, we got lots to get to in our next segment here. Some good news. More good news. All right, listen carefully, because corporate America is witnessing something extraordinary. Walmart CEO John Furner just triggered an earthquake on CBS Mornings, announcing a complete reversal of their woke agenda DEI programs. Gone. Transgender merchandise restricted. Belonging over forced diversity? Absolutely. Within 24 hours of this announcement, Walmart's stock surged 2.1%, while woke competitor Target plummeted 3%. Ford, John Deere, Toyota, they're all following suit. Even NASA employees are begging for liberation from DEI's $22 million annual waste. And tonight, we're going to reveal how the anti-woke crusade is saving American business and why this is just the beginning. And you know what Chuck Norris and America's top corporations have in common? Well, they're both getting stronger by ditching failed policies and embracing what works. Just watch the shocking video where Chuck reveals how one simple change kept him kicking strong into his 80s. While companies are freeing themselves of costly DEI programs, you too can break free from what's holding you back. Chuck's wife, she tried it too. Now she feels a decade younger. Don't miss this groundbreaking revolution that's helping Americans reclaim their vitality. Visit chuckdefense.com/next. It's linked below. And discover the secret that everyone is talking about. Okay, so this was the big news today. But it actually started 6 days ago. Now, Robbie Starbuck, I follow him on X, and this guy is a beast. He has been going after all of these woke corporations, and they are all falling like dominoes. I've been tracking all this, and in fact, 6 days ago, he gave us a teaser. He said, I just filmed the first 10 minutes of our next video exposing a major brand, and it's absolutely wild. It's our biggest company yet. This one is going to be David versus Goliath, but we can win. And one thing before we drop it, don't expect perfection from anyone, but I do expect us all to stand against this one woke DEI-fueled company. That's how we change things, one by one. So don't throw your hands up thinking that there's just too many things you can't buy. Focus on one company at a time. Use whatever alternative you need to. Okay, so he goes into this. And I actually, at the time, I actually replied, and this is when Jaguar was trending for what they had just published, that monstrosity of a commercial. And of course, Jaguar is, they're having their own problems now. But we're finding out that It is Walmart swapping out DEI for MEI, Merit, Excellence, and Intelligence. Will move America forward. Walmart nukes DEI as anti-woke crusader Robbie Starbuck sends shockwaves across corporate America. And even CNN had to cover it. Listen.
The nation's largest conservatives fighting back against corporate DEI may have scored their biggest victory yet. Walmart, the nation's largest private employer, just announced it is rolling back its diversity, equity, and inclusive initiatives amid outcries over so-called corporate wokeism and claims that DEI is more divisive than inclusive. Walmart says it's ending racial equity training programs for staff, evaluating programs designed to increase supplier diversity, reviewing funding of pride events, and removing sexual or transgender products marketed to children. Now, Walmart defends the move, saying, quote, "We have been on a journey and know we aren't perfect, but every decision comes from a place of wanting to foster a sense of belonging." Other companies making similar moves. They include Harley-Davidson, Tractor Supply, and John Deere. Conservatives fighting.
And that's all because of Robbie Starbuck. Okay? Here is the Walmart CEO this morning. Walmart CEO John Furner drops a bombshell on CBS Morning, signaling an about-face on the woke agenda. DEI programs are being scaled back. Listen to this.
Base. We're joined now for an exclusive interview with John Furner, the president and CEO of Walmart U.S. I got to ask you off the top to talk about this report I'm reading in today's Wall Street Journal about how Walmart is pulling back on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs under pressure from a conservative activist. So a few of the changes here: phasing out the term DEI, winding down the Center for Racial Equity, no longer giving priority treatment to suppliers based on race or gender diversity, and preventing sellers from listing some transgender-related or themed items on the website. So is that accurate from what you're hearing, and why the changes?
Let me say, like many companies all across the United States, we've been on a journey and we continue to be on a journey. And what we're trying to do is to ensure that every customer, every associate feels welcome here to shop and to feel like they belong. And that term belong, we've been talking about belonging now for almost 2 years. Early 2023, we started talking about belonging. And we're going to continue to make the best decisions we can that makes everyone, our customers, our associates, feel like this is an environment they can shop in and thrive in.
I mean, you remember what happened with Target, right? Their stock collapsed after what was discovered inside their stores. Fox News reporting on this. Woke woes. Walmart joins Ford, John Deere, Toyota, and other major companies in ditching controversial DEI initiatives. Chuck Calestro, breaking report. NASA staff slams BS DEI policies that cost Americans $22 million a year, begging Elon Musk to clean house, according to the Daily Mail. NASA staff have criticized the agency, accusing it of being overrun by a focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion, which they argue is undermining the core scientific work of the organization. Former employee voiced concern that NASA's emphasis on DEI is hindering America's ability to compete with China in space, claiming the Biden-Harris administration only supports programs that prioritize DEI initiatives. Several dissatisfied staff members speaking on a condition of anonymity pointed fingers at middle managers for promoting what they described as ineffective DEI policies. So even over at NASA, real scientists don't give a hoot about DEI or other hyper-political crap. Wow. So NASA is taking aim at DEI. And we got a video here from Robbie Starbuck that he published. We're going to get to that in a second. Here's more. Epoch Times covered it today. Walmart announces departure from DEI initiatives. But look at this. Okay, here's something that's interesting. This was posted by Tara Bull 17 hours ago. Target gets rid of pride displays, changed Happy Holidays to Merry Christmas, and have a new MAGA Chad Santa. So now the question is, has Target gone unwoke as well? Let's watch. This is their new commercial that they just dropped. Give me your opinion on what you think here. Let's bring it up. This is Target's official TikTok account.
Definitely dreaming of a white Christmas.
Born to be wild. What do you know? So it looks like we've got Target joining the bandwagon, or are they? Are they paying attention to what's going on at Walmart? You know they are. You know they're paying very close attention. Now let's get to Robbie Starbucks talking about this. This was just published. Let's see. Walmart's rolling back its racist DEI practices. Trump's reelection has everyone shook. George Behezy tweets posted this. Let's take a look at, let's go to Robbie Starbucks direct here. Okay. Let's take a look and watch this together.
100% flip rate. All right, y'all. I don't even know how to start this video because honestly, this is different than everything else we've done because this is the single largest employer in the United States. We are talking about a company that is worth almost $1 trillion on its own. As many of you know, I have been investigating a massive company now for a while, and I have kept my lips sealed on who it was. Now I can reveal it was Walmart, but something incredible happened in the course of my investigation. Walmart became aware of our investigation and reached out to me. This was critical and honestly turned out pretty fantastic for everybody involved, in my opinion. We were able to have frank conversations with Walmart. And as I've said for a long time, I don't ask companies to take on my political views. I am simply advocating for corporate neutrality. I believe that that is the future because I understand there are people in this country who do not agree with my politics. So it would not be fair of me to force my politics on them the same way that I am not okay with left-wing policies being forced on me and people like me via things like DEI. After various conversations, I am very proud to report to you guys that Walmart has decided on making some changes. I'm going to lay out what those changes are for you and explain how massive this is for our movement. We are unstoppable at this point with a 100% flip rate where we change corporate America and get them back to a culture of sanity and neutrality. Bullet point number 1, Walmart will be removing all inappropriate sexual and or transgender products that are marketed toward kids, things like chest binders for teenagers or books that encourage transitioning. That is all going to be gone. Bullet point number 2, Walmart is going to review and stop funding to all events that could be sexually inappropriate for kids. That includes drag queen story time or pride events that expose kids to sexually inappropriate topics. That's all going to stop going forward. Third bullet point, Walmart will be closing their racial equity center. This is a center they had committed $100 million to, and it was a 5-year project. They will be closing that center going forward. Fourth bullet point, Walmart will no longer participate in the HRC's Corporate Equality Index social credit system. This scoring system is what has brought wokeness into so many segments of corporate America, and we are happy to see them no longer participating. There is not a corporation in America that should be participating with the HRC's CEI scoring system going forward. The HRC got explicitly political in the 2024 election, working with everything they have to defeat Donald Trump and calling him every name in the book. It is time for companies to recognize that they need to move away from this system that is explicitly political and embrace corporate neutrality so that everybody is welcome in their stores. Fifth bullet point, Walmart is going to be reviewing their supplier diversity programs to ensure that nobody's receiving preferential treatment on the basis of race, and they will also ensure that financing eligibility will no longer be predicated on providing certain demographic information. Sixth bullet point, and this is a favorite for me, being Latino myself, Walmart will no longer be using the term Latinx in any of their official communications. That is going to be wiped away. I was very disappointed to see it was there, but again, this is across corporate America. So this is a company, Walmart, who is doing the right thing here, and I want to give them credit for that. Getting rid of this, big. We don't want to hear Latinx ever again. Bullet point number 7, Walmart will be discontinuing their racial equity training through the Racial Equity Institute. Again, getting rid of woke trainings. And last but not least, drumroll please for the big one, DEI. They will be discontinuing use of DEI both publicly and privately at Walmart. This is a massive win for our movement. The momentum just keeps growing. This is the largest employer in the United States, worth almost $1 trillion. Other companies are taking notice. Suppliers of Walmart are taking notice now. With Christmas right around the corner, I'm happy I could deliver you guys one retailer that will drop the woke policies. You've still got Amazon and Target acting crazy out there with wokeness, so I'm glad I could give you guys one at least. And yes, we do have our eyes on Amazon and Target. America just voted, and we voted against wokeness. We voted for sanity. We voted for corporate neutrality. We don't want companies funding divisive things, and Walmart is setting a great example here for other companies to turn around. It's not too late. Turn around. People are very forgiving, and we can get back to sanity together and rebuild and make this country the greatest it can possibly be. As this New York Times headline clearly illustrates, the paradigm has changed. Companies need to listen to our movement. We are powerful and growing every single day. We will not stop until we have eliminated wokeness in corporate America. If you love our work to remove wokeness from corporate America, follow me, share these videos, subscribe to my X page. It's $5 a month. It supports our research team. But please tell your friends about this and let's keep this movement growing. All right, y'all. I don't even know how.
Did you see that headline? at the top. Anti-DEI agitator that big companies fear most. From his home in Tennessee, the social media rabble-rouser Robbie Starbuck is waging war on woke policies at places like Lowe's and Ford. His timing is impeccable. I've been tracking this guy. I've been waiting to do a story on him, and I'm glad that I am. I finally, this is big. This is Walmart. Now we've also got this from Laura Ingram. This just happened just like a couple hours ago. So let's bring this up.
We will keep men out of women's sports. That's like a no-brainer.
And it turns out we can be very thankful that it looks like Trump broke woke. The largest retailer in the United States is dumping its diversity, equity, and inclusion charade.
Walmart is pulling back on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. Why the changes?
What we're trying to do is to ensure that every customer, every associate feels welcome here to shop and to feel like they belong. And we're going to continue to make the best decisions we can that makes everyone, our customers, our associates, feel like this is an environment they can shop in and thrive in.
All right, that's a really long-winded way of saying we're listening to our consumers now who think woke is a joke. Trump doesn't just know how to read the room, people. He reads the country. Case in point, his announcement yesterday that he's planning significant...
We will keep men...
Oh, my friends, so many good things are happening, and this is only the beginning. This is only the beginning. Even Elon Musk takes note here. He says the tide has turned, quote, tweeting the Fox News article. Epoch Times, Tara Bull pointing out that Target ad. Robbie Starbuck. It's funny. It says, okay, so 24 hours after announcing Walmart worked with me to end their woke policies, their stock is up 2.1%. Their competitor Target is down 3%. Our movement is a force in the market. Go woke, go broke actually has meaning now. And Paul Zipula says, I'll keep saying it. People simply don't realize the power Robbie is wielding here. Companies spend many millions advertising just to keep their value from collapsing. Robbie can change that value up or down with a single post on X. This is why the establishment is terrified. And Robbie replied, it's crazy even to me. And you can see Walmart is tagged in all these posts. So score another victory for conservatives, for sanity, for Robbie Starbuck, because the verdict is in. Go woke, go broke. It's not just a catchphrase, it's an economic reality. Robbie Starbuck's campaign against corporate virtue signaling has proven that Americans will reward companies that choose merit over madness, excellence over equity, and real results over woke rhetoric. The market has spoken, and the message is clear. DEI is DOA. So here's what I want to know from you. Comment below. Which woke corporation should be the next target of Robbie Starbuck and the anti-DEI revolution? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And for those ready to join the fight, our exclusive MAGAvengers collection is dropped at the Next News merch shop. These limited edition pieces feature our viral design that's already causing meltdowns in corporate boardrooms. So head over to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com before the anti-woke army claims them all. All right. Guinevere's here. I see you. All right, you didn't leave. All right, I see your message here. She says, $5, thank you. I drove their vans for 3 years. Every day I had to bite my tongue, drove me crazy, and I felt uncomfortable. You worked for Walmart? You drove their vans? Oh, man. Oof, that's rough. Thank you for that. And then Pisces Girl dropping $10. Thank you. And she simply says, happy Thanksgiving, Gary. Well, happy Thanksgiving to you and everybody out there. I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving dinner this Thursday. It is going to be wonderful. I've also got a wedding this weekend for a family member. It's going to be a wonderful, beautiful weekend. So many things to be thankful for. And as you're watching this, just keep in mind that, we won't have a show Thursday and we won't have a show on Friday. And the wedding is we got the rehearsal dinner and we got this, the weddings on Saturday. I mean, it's going to be a big weekend, but I am here for it. And you guys are here now. So let's get to our next topic. This is more amazing stuff happening in the world. And Brian, thank you for sending me that link to that podcast table. That is super cool. That it's kind of like what I have. What? What, Brian? A neon sign? Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah, or you could put you could put LED screens. Imagine if you put vertical LED screens on that and you could have like a that'd be really cool. If it's four of it looks like it's just basically a four top. It's like this desk here. I think it's taller and it's taller and it's already turned. It's in a circle motion. Yeah, I'm not sure where. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, but they can't hear you, so we're having a one-sided conversation. Okay, well, I don't like them having. Okay, you can choose the height too: 30 inches, 36 inches, or 42 inches. Wow, and you can choose wow 90 inches wide, 39 inches deep, a half-inch engineered surface. What does that mean? Oh, okay. Wow, gloss laminate. Holy cow, you can really turn this thing up, dude. Wow. That's cool, dude. Where did you find this thing? I don't know. Yeah. You're just Googling. You should be producing the show, Brian. Okay. We got Lavender Rose dropping $5. What about airlines? I have a niece getting married in Southern California next year. I want a pilot I can trust. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this whole DEI thing is gonna die soon. It is going to die soon. Dave the Patriot says, "Great job, Gary. Bye bye DEI LGBTQ brain rot next." All right, Dave. Thank you for that $10. We are on a roll tonight. We are at $136.97. Wow, thank you guys. Thank you everybody. I want to look. You know what? Now that you're showing this to me, I bet you that this is not the only company, Brian, who produces a podcast style desk like this. I bet you there's plenty of others. Yeah, no, I like this too. It's super cool, man. Super cool. Okay, enough dreaming. But that might look good in the other production area that we've been wanting to build. We can actually have a podcast with guests and stuff in studio. That would be really fun. But we got to get you out here, Brian, to do that. All right. Let's get to our next topic here. Let's go. The swamp creatures are in full panic mode. Trump's transition team just dropped a thermonuclear bomb on the deep state's playbook. No more compromised GSA phones. No more corrupted computers. No more playing by their rules. Led by incoming Chief of Staff Susie Wiles, Trump's team has signed a transition agreement, but here is the twist. They're completely bypassing the deep state's infrastructure. Meanwhile, DOJ lawyers are already drafting resignation letters. The DNC is laying off staff nationwide, and Trump's favorability has hit a stunning 54%. So now we're about to expose how the president-elect's team is outmaneuvering the bureaucratic beast. And in an age where deep state operatives lurk in every digital shadow, protecting your devices isn't optional, it's crucial. That's why I trust VirtualShield Antivirus Pro. While Trump's team avoids compromised government systems, you need the same level of protection for your devices. VirtualShield's real-time protection blocks malicious attacks before they reach you, just like Trump's team is blocking deep state interference. Don't wait until it's too late. Visit virtualshield.com/nextnews for a risk-free 7-day trial and save up to 75% during their Black Friday special. Because when it comes to security, second chances don't exist. Now, let's get into this one. Lots to cover here. Now, as we were getting organized, getting ready to present all this, this just broke. Trump has now selected Dr. Jay Bhattacharya as director of National Institute of Health. He was hugely outspoken during the COVID pandemic against establishment medical policies. Now, there was some pushback over who Trump had picked. Was it for the CDC just recently? And this might be an answer to that. And I'm happy to see this. I'm very happy to see this. Even Jeffrey Tucker, you guys know who he is? He says, whatever happens now, there's a beautiful poetic justice with the ascendance of Dr. Jay Bhattacharya to the position of the man at NIH who called him a fringe epidemiologist and triggered a grotesque tech and economic boycott of his ideas. Let the new era begin. And also this, Liz Churchill posted this 3 hours ago. Dr. Bhattacharya, who argued that lockdowns harm children, was placed on a Twitter blacklist, which prevented his tweets from being seen. So Barry Weiss brought this out and revealed it, that this person who's now heading the National Institute of Health, he is on our team. Now, I'm not sure if you're paying attention about what's going on with Rudy Giuliani, but this video really hit me. This hit me hard today. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but you need to see just this is the damage that they have done to people. Okay, now Donald Trump, the man's a billionaire. He's got infrastructure, he's got buildings. He's I hate to say it, but he can take the blows, and he's shown it. But Rudy Giuliani's a different person. Okay, he's not a billionaire like Trump. And when the deep state attacked him, they went double barrels on him. And this is what he's saying now.
Reality is, I have no cash. It's all tied up. So right now, if I wanted to call a taxi cab, I can't do it. I don't have a credit card. I don't have a checking account. I have no place I can go take cash out except a little bit that I saved, and it's getting down to almost nothing. I have a business. I can do business expenses, but I'm very careful about that because God forbid I should make a mistake between a personal and a business expense. Unlike Hunter Biden, I go to jail right away.
So Rudy Giuliani, a victim of the deep state attacks, he is in a lot of pain, and we need to figure out a way to help him. Now, as we continue to track the administration's transition, new information is coming out that the Kamala Harris campaign, they knew her campaign was doomed. Rasmussen reports showed this. Internally, it looked like something like this, that Trump was winning everywhere. They knew this. The Kamala Harris campaign knew these numbers. These were their internal numbers, but they continued to gaslight the American people. And Kamala Harris, she's finally come out of hiding. She's off her vacation now, and she's supposedly back at work. And I'm going to show you, okay, before I get to what she actually said here. All right. Before I get to the memes that are floating around. Oh, what the hell? Let's just show you the memes. Let's go to the memes. Let's go straight to the memes.
Don't you ever let anybody take your power from you. You have the same power that you did before November 5th. And you have the same purpose that you did. Don't you
Okay, so that's obviously a clip. Someone put that together, and it's quite funny. And that's the first thing I thought when I saw her, when I saw the original that was floating around. I know I've got it here. But with respect to, here, look at this guy, Tim Walz. He's now coming out saying it's scary that Americans resoundingly rejected him and Kamala.
Out there. I know it's incredibly disappointing now. And look, candidly, it's a bit scary because there's a very different vision that's being put out there. I know it's.
Yeah, you should be scared. You should be scared. Okay. Let's find that clip. There is the full clip here. Sometimes these don't always show up the way I want them to. But that's okay. Speaking of the DNC, Kamala Harris, did you know that they've now laid off most of their staffers across the country without any notice? And now they've actually set up a GoFundMe account.
The Trump team is the organizer of this DNC union GoFundMe says we are heartbroken to see our colleagues who dedicated countless hours to electing Democrats up and down the ballot depart under these circumstances, and we are furious with DNC leadership for failing to provide severance to those affected. As they fundraise, the Trump team is filling out their cabinet. The president-elect is reportedly trying to place Kash Patel in a high-ranking DOJ or FBI job, and Elon Musk, who is hiring right now with Vivek Ramaswamy for the Doge government waste project, is said to be on the lookout for an AI czar. Back to you.
Hey, Peter, got a quick question for you. Given the fact that the Democrats had an epic loss in the race for that building behind you, the DNC union people didn't see layoffs coming where they were going to get 1 day's notice?
Doesn't sound like it. No, and they are about $16,000 of a $25,000 goal. It doesn't seem like they're that people who donated a lot of money for months, even just $10, $15 at a time on those recurring payments that you get the text messages about constantly in an election season. It doesn't seem like there's much of an appetite for people to open their wallets again for that, or for the Harris campaign that now needs Tim Walz to go out and ask for help.
You know, how many people were fired? I know it was 2/3. Do we know the exact number? Because I feel like $25,000 to help people pay their rents and their bills is not that much if it's hundreds of people.
If you got to split it.
They're saying that the $25,000 is temporary because they still think they're going to be able to get some kind of money out of the DNC or some kind of unemployment assistance. And so it's temporary. They had a protest at Union Station yesterday. It was pretty small.
Yeah. Peter, why'd you wear that necktie today? Did you see me do the tease at...
The organizer of this DNC...
So let's check in, shall we? Should we check in on how this fundraiser is going? Yeah, we got the link here. Wow, these are all out of order today. Unreal. Okay, hang on. We'll get to it. Okay, here it is. This is the GoFundMe for the DNC staff. Here it is. Let's go and check it out. All right, here we go to the GoFundMe. Support the DNC staff layoff relief fund. Only 153 donations. They haven't even reached their goal yet. Wow. $17,000, almost $18,000 of a $25,000 goal. DNC staff union layoff relief fund. Last week, 2/3 of the DNC staff was laid off with little notice and no severance. We're heartbroken to see our colleagues who dedicated countless hours electing Democrats up and down the ballot depart under these circumstances. We're furious with DNC leadership for failing to provide severance to those affected. That's how the DNC looks at you. You're worthless, and they're just going to cut you off because you did what they needed you to do. Bye-bye. They can't even raise the money. Speaking of January 20th, what's coming up here? The Doge, Wall Street MAV, here's something that needs to be cut on January 20th. Taxpayers have spent $15 million on security services for Dr. Anthony Fauci in the past 2 years after he had already returned to life as a private citizen. That's according to a new report. Waste of the day. Fauci still getting chauffeur and security detail. Kamala Harris campaign just admitted their internal polling never showed her ahead of Trump. The whole thing was fabricated. We knew that. We were covering the whole campaign. It was all AstroTurf. They were paying influencers. They were paying people to come to the DNC. Tens of thousands of dollars. I mean, $1 million to Oprah's company, $500,000 to Al Sharpton's nonprofit. And he didn't even disclose it to MSNBC. MSNBC supposedly didn't even know that his nonprofit got, what was it, $400,000, $500,000 right before the interview? That's how twisted these people are. Imagine being the people donating to the DNC Staff Relief Fund. You can't make this up. They really started a GoFundMe for staff. How pathetic that Kamala and the Dems spent $1 billion and can't even take care of staff workers. GoFundMe for fired DNC staff is mocked into sweet oblivion on social media, according to The Blaze. Oh, yes. And speaking of government waste, Elon Musk posted this. A friend of mine had a meeting with a senior official at SEC. They hadn't been in the building for so long, they couldn't even figure out how to turn the lights on. They were there sitting in the dark with cell phone flashlights looking like demented burglars. Steve Moore. I go to these big federal buildings and it's almost like they're haunted. It's spooky. There's nobody there. Nobody shows up. It's ridiculous. Elon Musk and Vivek want to stop that. Incoming White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles says the memorandum of understanding has now been filed between Trump-Vance transition team and the Biden White House. It has been signed. So the transition is moving forward. They still have to count and certify each state election results on January 6th. However, the transfer of power has officially begun. So landing teams, critical preparation, they're going to be going into these departments and basically taking in all the information so there's a smooth transition of power. Now, there's something, this is what's really, really interesting about this whole thing, okay? This is what is really wild. We have okay. This is according to The Last Refuge, 7 hours ago. Trump says his transition team will not use government resources because they want to save money. Okay? Hans Manke says that. Last Refuge says they will not use telephones, computers, or technology provided by deep state GSA in order to prevent a repeat of this. Now, what is this? Okay. And it's fine print, and I'm going to try to read it for you. We discovered the unauthorized disclosures by the GSA on December 12th and December 13th of 2017, when we learned that Special Counsel's office had received certain laptops and cell phones containing privileged materials. We initially raised our concerns with Brendan Van Grack in the Special Counsel's office on December 12th. Van Grack confirmed that the Special Counsel's office had obtained certain laptop cell phones and at least one iPad from the GSA. He assured us the Special Counsel's investigation did not recover any emails or other relevant data from that hardware. During the exchange, namely that the Special Counsel's office had simultaneously received the GSA's tens of thousands of emails, including very significant volume of privileged material, and Special Counsel's office was actively using those materials without any notice to TFA. So what does this mean? The GSA, who supplies the technology for this transition team, they just handed everything over to Robert Mueller. They just gave it to him. No warrants, no, just hey, give it to us. So what Trump is doing now and his team, they're like, no, we're not playing that game again. We're putting a wall up right now. We're going to use our own stuff. We don't need you. But they say here, it's to save money, right? Is it really, though? Trump says the transition team will not use government resources because they want to save money. However, this is merely a smoke screen. What really happens is Trump has learned from past experiences, particularly what they did to General Flynn during the previous transition, as well as the fake briefing Trump got from Comey, which was used as a pretext to weaponize the Russia collusion hoax. This time, there will be no involvement from deep state operatives, no bureaucratic hindrances, and most importantly, no spying. Now look at this here. The transition will not use government buildings or technology provided by GSA and will operate as a self-sufficient organization. This organizational autonomy means streamlined process that guarantees the Trump administration is ready on day one. The transition is already excised security, the transition team has existing security and information protections built in, which means we will not require additional government and bureaucratic oversight. Okay? They are not going to play that game again. If the GSA is so willing to hand over anything at any time, they're preparing for any attack that could be forthcoming. Because you know the deep state's going to strike again. That's what they do. They're not just going to walk away quietly. They're going to find something, some reason to investigate, and they're going to demand all the communications, and the GSA is going to hand it over, but not this time. Now they would actually have to get subpoenas for the private devices that they're using. So this is really, really smart of them. And on top of that, President Trump wants to hire an AI czar to help implement the technology and improve functions of government. AI can never replace hardworking people. It will only replace government bureaucrats. Elon won't be the czar because of his Doge schedule. We'll see about that. Now, we're also learning this. Actually 2 days ago, Pam Bondi is now going to be the AG. And, quote, as AG, my first official action will be to investigate the Epstein and Diddy lists. It's a major win. So we're hoping to see what comes out of that. But there's still some talk of recess appointments. Jan Jeklinick, recess appointments clause power. It exists in the Constitution. Hundreds of federal officials have been confirmed using it. Let's listen to this for a moment.
The impact, the effectiveness of.
For a lot of the history of the Republic, the nominees of the president, both to serve in the executive branch and the nominees of the president to serve in the judicial branch, sailed through relatively quickly. It's a lot of red tape that's been added. Like my confirmation took 14 months. It's like night and day from the process that drafters of the Constitution intended.
As part of our special series on the U.S. presidential transition period, I'm sitting down with Jeff Clark, Assistant Attorney General at the Justice Department during the previous Trump administration, and now Senior Fellow and Director of Litigation at the Center for Renewing America. What are recess appointments? Why is Trump so interested in them? Are there legal or historical precedents for them? And how could they impact the effectiveness of this coming administration? This is American Thought Leaders, and I'm Jan Jekielek.
So recess appointments are still on the table. We found that video for you. It was very hard to watch. The Democrats actually posted this. I don't know why they would want to post this, but they did. 7 million views.
I just have to remind you, don't you ever let anybody take your power from you. You have the same power that you did before November 5th. And you have the same purpose that you did. And you have the same ability to engage and inspire. So don't ever let anybody or any circumstance take your power from you.
Well, we just took the power from you. How about that? Apparently, the full version is about 10 minutes long. Not going to subject you to that. Benny Johnson posted 6 hours ago the full video. Kamala Harris addresses supporters 3 weeks after her humiliating loss to Trump in painfully cringe 10-minute rant where she brags about wasting over $1.4 million in donor money. Also this, breaking news, Trump insiders are saying a large number of lawyers at the Department of Justice are planning to submit their resignation letters once President Trump takes office. Fine, take the trash out yourself. Okay, this is great. It's kind of like what we learned about with Robert Kennedy Jr.'s appointment, that all these people in Health and Human Services are going to just take the trash out themselves. Perfectly fine with me. All this while CNN is calling for X to be censored and moderated because people are allowed to say what they want. Really?
So platforms are not regulated right now, which gives them carte blanche to whatever they want right now. Elon is not someone who likes to be regulated. And so to buy MSN, he would go under some federal regulations.
Who's regulating CNN right now?
The FCC.
We're not a broadcast. It's cable. I mean, I don't really think cable stations are under the same regulatory structure over public airways that broadcast is.
It's definitely regulated more than than Facebook and
there's
Twitter.
Still, what she's saying is that there's still a litmus test of journalism that you have to pass. You can't come on TV and just make up things and say things. That happens on X.
That's what they do on CNN all day long. And she says that's what they do on X.
Make up things and say things. That happens on X. Please don't give me the eyebrow furrow as if you don't know what I'm talking about. It happens often on X. I can go and say the color is blue and I will be met with so many disrespectful remarks. No one's regulating the N-word. No one's regulating the criticism. No one is regulating how people are treated.
How much government regulation of the First Amendment are you for?
Let me tell you something. If I came on here and I just started calling you all kind of names, do you think the bosses would let me continue to do that?
I mean, it happens to me occasionally. I don't know if you watch
it doesn't happen to you, but it doesn't happen for me. And I know that I wouldn't be able to do that. There's a level of professionalism in what we do here because we are journalists and we adhere to something, at least morally. And there is no moral compass on this thing called X. You're also having...
Actually, there is. It's called community notes, honey. Hate to break it to you. Don't worry. I'm sure you'll get your community note very soon. We got a huge surge in consumer confidence, stock market expectations hitting record highs, according to Zero Hedge, which is also good news. Donald Trump's accomplishments before taking off. Before Mexico agrees to end migrant caravans. Canada closes border, ends illegal immigration. America's stock market, Bitcoin, hit record highs. China stock market crash. Xi Jinping begs for peace with America. Companies move production back to the U.S. Putin backs selling of oil in U.S. dollars. Putin no longer targets the dollar. Zelensky agrees to peace talks. EU shifts to buying U.S. gas. Hamas agrees to end war now. Ceasefire in Israel and Lebanon. Illegal aliens are self-deporting across the country. Corrupt government bureaucrats retiring en masse. Government censorship regime collapsing. Democrat lawfare atomized. Trump at plus 65% approval rating. We are moving into the golden era. All this is happening right now. This was published a couple days ago. I wanted to bring it all to your attention. Federal government agencies, this was posted by the DOJ. Federal government agencies are using, on average, just 12% of the space in their D.C. headquarters. When I saw this post 6 days ago, I was actually sitting in bed, and I'm just like scrolling X. And Angie, she's next to me, and I go, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. And she's like, what? And I showed her, and she couldn't believe it. I'd never seen the figures like this. 12% of the space in their DC headquarters, Department of Agriculture space for more than 7,400 people, average 456 workers each day, 6% occupancy. Why are American taxpayer dollars being spent to maintain empty buildings? Nearly 90% of federal office space in D.C. going to waste. 90% going to waste. Kamala Harris. I posted this 21 hours ago. Elon Musk does electric cars and trucks, underground tunnels, satellite internet systems, not flamethrowers, defends free speech, shit posts on X all day, builds humanoid robots, implants brain chips, makes rockets for Mars, embarrasses Boeing, campaigns for Trump, and plans to buy MSNBC, and now he's set to slash $2 trillion in government waste alongside Vivek and Ron Paul for the next presidency. Where does he find all the time to do that? Oh, wait, probably because the robots he builds are running half of it for him. Tulsi Gabbard, she is in the running. She has been appointed. Of course, she is under massive attack. We're going to get to that. But speaking of Doge, here is Dallas's very own Jasmine Crockett doing us proud, explaining how Doge she says Doge is going to cost money.
When you don't let it be lost on you that they are talking about getting rid of wasting money while creating a new agency to somehow get rid of wasting money, right? Like, it's a joke. And honestly, I think this is really more so about self-dealing. When you look at the amount of contracts that someone like Elon Musk has had with the federal government, when you look at Vivek, these are guys who have benefited from federal contracting. And honestly, I think that they are looking for additional ways to enhance themselves, while at the same time probably minimizing oversight and those that would actually say there is a conflict, this is a problem, and no, this should not happen. I honestly think that this subcommittee is going to try to stop the work of those Democrats like my ranking member, Jamie Raskin, from making sure that we're keeping oversight over Donald Trump and his business dealings when it comes to dealing with folks like China and other countries that right now are not necessarily on the top of our friends list.
Mara, one might argue that there is a pattern here, which is there's like the seedling of a thing that does have popular agreement, right? That there needs to be a reckoning with bureaucracy generally. That even as the Congresswoman said, there already is a committee that is supposed to be rooting out waste and abuse. And that to see that done in a proper, holistic, thoughtful way might actually have the support of the American people. To simply take a wrecking ball to the federal government is not the same thing.
Well, it's not the same thing. And I actually think the Congresswoman brought up a really interesting point in terms of how this Doge or Dodge, I don't know what we've gone with, might function separately, which is essentially not only is it just loyal to Donald Trump, but it's creating government bureaucracy for the express purpose of punishing political enemies, potentially, and also rewarding political friends. So what kind of contract authority is it going to have? What kind of transparency is it going to have? I mean,
okay, I'll tell you. They've already explained it. They're going to have a website, and they're going to list all the crazy stuff the government spends money on. And we're going to be able to see it in real time. And we'll be able to upvote and downvote it all. Oh, I can't wait to cover that. Oh, it's going to be so fun. So she's complaining about transparency and more bureaucracy. Well, there is going to be oversight. Marjorie Taylor Greene has already said she's going to be head of the subcommittee. So there's that. It's not operating like it's some rogue bureaucracy. Okay? You got Vivek, you got Ron Paul, Elon Musk. All right, they're going to be making a list, checking it twice, and they're going to find out who is naughty and nice. All right? And some of those folks are going to get coal for Christmas. Well, you know what I mean. Biden hitting a 61% disapproval rating, a new low for the lame duck as he is leaving office. But President Trump's favorability rating is now a new high, 54%, according to Emerson. Trump is certainly learning from the first presidency. You don't trust the deep state to bring you to dinner unless you have a food taster on hand. Trump is not using the GSA for the transition because last time around GSA turned over all of Trump's personal records to Mueller without so much as a warrant. So that is how he is like insulating himself. And I thought this was great. This is Elon Musk and Kai Trump. This was posted 10 hours ago. And you rarely get to see these candid moments. You know, we're talking about Elon Musk. We're talking about Doge. And I just thought this was really cool because it was such a candid, captured moment.
Vice payload.
That's good.
Yeah.
What's the G-forces going up if you were to go to manned? Is it too much for a person to handle?
No, it's fine.
It's okay.
Yeah, like 5 Gs.
Okay, that's fine.
It's fine, yeah. The boost back burn is doing 20 Gs, so you wouldn't want to be on that.
You wouldn't want to do the flip, yeah.
No.
What did you say the top speed was?
Well, this flight it'll do about 17,000 miles an hour, but for going to Mars, you'd go much faster than that, so maybe 35,000. Depends on how fast you want to go to Mars, but maybe 35,000 miles an hour.
What's the quickest time frame to get to Mars with our current technology?
If you want to maximize payload, it takes 6 months. You could potentially get it down to like 3 or 4 months if you're willing to sacrifice payload.
Okay. Does the weight matter once you're in space as much, or not really?
You've got to accelerate mass to a velocity to basically the Mars transfer velocity.
So there's a cost benefit of getting it going.
If you have less payload, you can go faster. That's in the beginning we'd maximize payload to be like 6 months. Okay. Like long term, you could definitely get it below 3 months. So, yeah.
Cool. Fantastic. Let's go see it. Let's do it.
Thank you for having me.
It's amazing.
And I told her she was just crying.
What's pretty exciting? I mean, it's one of the most epic things that humans have done.
Oh, for sure.
What's harder, this or Greater Rifts in Diablo?
This is much harder.
Did you ever play Fortnite?
No. But I did play Quake and a bunch of other first-person shooters.
What about League? Did you play League?
Is that X?
League. If I start playing League, it will damage the space program.
Yeah, that's first, right?
Yeah, it's cool. It's awesome. It's an honor to have President here.
That's good.
Yeah.
What's the cool is that? It's a little behind-the-scenes stuff with Elon Musk. But the guy's a freaking genius, man. Like just rattling off those figures. I mean, like I'm happy that he is heading up Doge. This is awesome. All these things are happening, friends. As a GoFundMe is set up for Kamala Harris's fired DNC staffers. All of them let off. DNC staff union layoff relief fund. Have they made any more money since we started this? Any more? 153 donations. 17,966. Scroll it back. I don't know. I don't think they've made very much. So $15 million is what they're paying for Fauci's security. Elon Musk, he says the goal of Doge is to speed run fixing the federal government requires many anomalies in the matrix. Speaking of Elon Musk, the FCC has officially approved Starlink's license for its direct-to-cell program. Starlink satellites will be able to broadcast directly to your mobile devices. There will be no dead zone anywhere in the world for your cell phone. Wow. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Here is, okay, so Sebastian Gorka discussing Jack Smith. Now, you know Jack Smith, that whole thing has collapsed as well. And he says this is the death of Jack Smith's career. Let's listen.
The same very day. He wasn't working for the DOJ. He was parachuted in from the International Criminal Court. That's illegal. You can't do that. You've got to be on the DOJ list inside the building to become a special prosecutor. And as my source told me today, because he sent me the original motion, and then he sent me Judge Chutkan's response this afternoon. You never see this unless a judge is bored or totally broken by the likes of President Trump. You never get the response to the motion the same very day. This is the death of Jack Smith's career. It's over. Put a fork in it. It's done. He has been broken by Donald Trump, his attorneys, and the MAGA movement. This absolute political assassin is no more. His mission to go against the writ of the American people has failed. To quote my former boss and my God willing, my future boss, he failed bigly.
Now, speaking of Sebastian Gorka, here is Candace Owens, and I am with her.
What? Instead, we now have Pam Bondi. I don't know how that's going to be. I'm not feeling great about a lot of people that Trump has suddenly picked. I mean, Seb Gorka, What? This guy literally would send every single one of our children to die in Ukraine tomorrow. He's like a rabid lunatic who just wants once called Tucker a Putin puppet for what, not wanting to fight Ukraine's wars. We've got neocons back in town, and it is very concerning to me. And listen, I'm going to be one of those individuals that does hold Trump's feet to the fire. I don't understand this like sycophantic culture where you're like, we can't say anything bad about it. It's like, no, we don't want people like Seb Gorka. We don't want people like Marco Rubio. This is not why we all fought to get him into office. So I'm just going to leave that at that.
Yeah, we regardless, we have to. They're all government officials. They're all being appointed, and we have to hold everyone's feet to the fire. That is our responsibility as Americans in this republic. Okay? And speaking of appointments, RFK, he is going to be running the Health and Human Services Department. And I thought this is in line with some of the stuff I hope that he brings to attention with the FDA and all these other things. I didn't know this. All right. Wall Street Apes posted this just 12 hours ago. A man who lives in Sweden at a store similar to our world market sells food from all over the world. He shows that U.S. candy is actually labeled with a warning on the back of each item.
And concentration. I'm in a store here in Sweden. We have very strict food regulations what should and not should be put in food or edibles in Europe. So I went to this place called Matvärden. Here they have this USA shelf, and I looked at airheads. On the back of airheads you can see warning labels. Contains ACO colorants that can have negative effect on child's behavior and concentration. So, American candy comes with warning labels here in Europe. I'm in a store here in Sweden. We have very strict food regulations.
So I'm hoping that RFK will help get rid of some of these nasty things in our American food supply. When I saw this, they should make companies do this just for the fun of it. If it ain't Bobby approved, we ain't buying it. On the back, it's got Bobby frowning, and this is good. Oh, Bobby's smiling. Bobby approved. No good. Oh, avocado oil? Yay, Bobby approved. Can't believe it's not butter? No, Bobby says. Irish butter? Yes, Bobby approved. Yeah, that's where we need to go, and I hope that he does this. So, the Trump transition is underway. And again, we still have to hold these people's feet to the fire, no matter what. And let's go back to that Tulsi Gabbard clip I was going to play earlier.
I think it's offensive.
Tulsi Gabbard, another pick, not necessarily direct military. She's going to be the director of national intel. The usual Democratic defamers have really been hard on her, suggesting she's a Russian asset, et cetera. What do you make of all that, quickly?
You know, it's disgraceful that they're impugning somebody who, once again, served her country in combat. I've known Tulsi for years. She was a congresswoman in Hawaii when I was stationed there. She's a brave American. She's incredibly eloquent. She's got great life experience. She's exactly what we need in that seat to help reform the intelligence community. She's going to do a great job, and I think it's offensive the way they're trying to paint her as some sort of foreign asset. That's just ridiculous. She's a smart woman. She's doing a hell of a job. I'm excited to see her in the spot.
By the way, she is a current lieutenant commander. She's still in the reserve. So she is still serving our military. Great to see you, Tim Sheehy. Best of luck.
So many good things are happening. Make sure we figure out something for Rudy Giuliani, though. But the writing is on the wall. The deep state's stranglehold on power is crumbling, from empty federal buildings where bureaucrats can't even turn on the lights to a DNC so broke they're running GoFundMe campaigns for laid-off staffers. The old system is collapsing. Trump's team isn't just preparing for transition, they're preparing for transformation. So here's what I want to know from you. Which deep state agency should Trump tackle first when he takes office? Share your battle plan in the comments below. And for patriots ready to celebrate the swamp's demolition, check out our new MAGA Avengers collection at the Next News merch shop. These limited edition pieces feature our explosive MAGA Avengers design that's already triggering bureaucrats nationwide. Visit shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Link below before these collector's items vanish into the classified section. Okay, we have a couple of super chats to get to before we go to our next segment. Yoa Noah. Thank you, Gary, for the hard work you do for the truth. Thank you for that $10. Thank you very much. Ruby Sue dropping $30. Thank you. Simply a $30. We're at 185. Are we going to hit 200 tonight? We're at 185 right now. We are just $15 shy of hitting 200. Lone Star Gemini, peace and blessings. And happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Lone Star Gemini. And Rick Aussie, 77, says, Champ, don't put your full trust in Elon Musk as he has an agenda. Remember, his backers are God Bless America from us Aussies down under. Thank you, Rick, for that. No, we don't put all of our faith and trust into Elon Musk. No, we put our faith into no man but God above. But it's going to be fun to watch him dismantle the deep state. All right. We've got more news to get to. This one is probably the most concerning. This one is the most concerning. Let's get to, let me cue it up for you. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. My friends, the world is teetering on the brink of collapse. Putin's senior advisor, Dmitry Suslov, issued a chilling warning. Nuclear weapons are on the table if Russia faces massive strikes. Meanwhile, Biden's reckless authorization of long-range attacks into Russian territory has pushed us closer to the unthinkable. Germany is literally converting metro stations into air raid shelters. And Medvedev declares that any NATO missiles would trigger WMD deployment against Kyiv. And now, incredibly, there are reports suggesting that Biden officials are actually considering arming Ukraine with nuclear weapons. So tonight we're going to reveal how these next few days before Trump takes office could be the most dangerous in human history. And in these uncertain times, looking younger isn't just about vanity, it's about vitality. While world leaders play nuclear chicken, Americans need to be at their physical peak. And that's why I trust BioTrust Collagen. Just as our nation needs strength to face global threats, your body needs all 5 critical types of collagen to maintain peak condition. Unlike typical supplements, this breakthrough formula helps reduce visible aging while promoting total body resilience. Visit healthwithgary.com now for an incredible 51% off plus free VIP coaching and our 14 Foods for Amazing Skin ebook, because looking and feeling your best isn't optional anymore. So here we have it. Germany drawing up plans to use metro stations as air raid shelters. Authorities in Germany drawing up plans to use metro stations as air raid shelters, according to the Telegraph that just broke a day ago. 14 hours ago, Russian military defense announced it's preparing retaliatory actions to the attacks of Ukraine armed forces with ATACMS missiles in the Kursk region. That's according to the state agency RIA. Russia's Medvedev says, new nuclear doctrine means NATO missiles fired against our country could be deemed an attack by the bloc on Russia. Russia could retaliate with weapons of mass destruction against Kyiv and key NATO facilities wherever they are located. That means World War III. That is what Dmitry Medvedev said. That means World War III. This is where we're at, my friends. Now, we reported on this the other day, and now they're saying that they are not sending troops to Ukraine, according to the United Kingdom. UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy dismissed claims that British troops might be sent to Ukraine following reports of secret talks with France. We are not committing troops, but will continue training and support as needed. France remains open to options, but Germany and others resist military deployments. That's according to the Kyiv Independent. Now, back in November 19th, this came out that I believe this is Al Arabia English on the Russia-Ukraine war. I think they are bluffing. If Russia goes to nukes, that will be the end of Russia.
Countries, as I told you, I think this is a bluffing. And if Russia will go nukes, that will be the end of Russia itself and the end of physical life of people like Putin, Lavrov, and others. So I don't believe they would ever do this. Also, don't forget that Russia is not alone. They're part of this axis of chaos. China, North Korea, Iran, and all these countries, they are also afraid of any nuclear war because that will be the end. So I don't believe in all this bluffing from Russia that they will do something special. We heard it many times. If Crimea would be attacked, if Crimean Bridge would be attacked, if something else would be attacked. Ukraine is not using nukes. Russia can't use nukes either.
Okay, but Biden has discussed sending nukes to Ukraine. A Putin senior advisor says nukes will be launched if Russia is attacked. Wow, here we go.
As sufficient for the now Russia claims that it might use nuclear weapons if there is a massive start of any strike weapons, which could involve ballistic, cruise missiles, drones, whatever, hypersonic missiles. So any strike weapons, you consider this situation as sufficient for the use of nuclear weapons. And there is also in formulation a point that Russia might also use nuclear weapons if there is an impact on Russian critical systems which are involved in the nuclear system, in the decision-making system. Now, Russia claims that it might use nuclear weapons if there is a massive start of any strike weapons.
That's not good news. Remember this? This is back in September of 2022. This is John
Last
Brennan.
week, Director Brennan, the world that he has nuclear weapons. He said, I'm not bluffing when I say I'm willing to use them. How seriously should the United States take that threat?
Well, I don't think we should ever discard out of hand anything that Putin says. I do not think at this point that he is seriously considering the use of tactical nuclear weapons or any type of nuclear bomb in Ukraine because he knows that there would be international condemnation. And also, I think it would invite the U.S. and NATO allies to intervene in some manner. As President Biden and Jake Sullivan have said, it would be catastrophic if in the event that Putin decides to go down that nuclear route. So I think it's pretty typical of him to try to intimidate others. But at this point, I do think he is not deciding to go down that road.
Oh, we'll see, though. I certainly hope it doesn't happen. Now, November 19th, as World War III kicks off with Putin threatening use of nukes, Biden, he was at the G20 banging about climate change.
When it comes to for nature swaps, investing $2.5 billion these past 4 years, 10 times the total of what had come before. Let me close with this. When it comes to the adoption of clean energy, we've made remarkable progress together, but we all know we have so much more to do.
Okay, I can't even watch that without falling asleep. Here is 6 days ago, Secretary Austin predicts Putin is bluffing as well.
We've known for several weeks that they were revamping their policy on use of nuclear weapons. As I look at what they're doing, and we watch their strategic forces, very carefully. I don't see a change in their strategic force posture, and so we'll continue to remain vigilant in this regard. But at this point, no, I don't see an indication that there's an imminent intent to use nuclear weapons.
Certainly hope so. We have, this is President Trump. This was also, this was on the 19th.
Daily basis. Putin uses the N-word. I call it the N-word. He uses the N-word, the nuclear word, all the time. That's a no-no. You're not supposed to do that. He uses it on a daily basis. And everybody's so afraid, so afraid, so afraid. And as they're afraid, he uses it more and more. That's why he's doing the kind of things he's doing. He's doing them because he thinks nobody's going to ever attack us because they're all stupid and they're afraid to talk about it.
I totally agree with you.
Okay?
So what would you do
and
about
instead of, excuse me, it's a little complicated.
I'm sorry.
Instead of, kowtowing, instead of Biden saying, oh, he's got nuclear weapons. He keeps saying he's got we have better weapons. We have the greatest submarine power in history.
So what would you say and do?
I would say we have far more than you do, far more powerful than you, and you can't use that word ever again. You cannot use the nuclear word ever again. And if you do, we're going to have problems. Putin used.
We're going to have problems. So Russia, Dr. Bog Putin, I don't know who this is. Russia should stop provoking the West. The West has nukes, Trident II, for Moscow, and they work. This is what Trump was talking about.
Imagine a single Trident II missile launched toward Moscow, with all 8 warheads targeting the same area for maximum effect. The combined explosive yield would be approximately 3.8 megatons of TNT. Upon detonation as an airburst, the immediate fireball would engulf an area over 10 square kilometers, or close to 4 square miles, vaporizing everything within its radius. Buildings would be obliterated within an 11-kilometer or close to 7-mile radius, flattening much of the city center. Thermal radiation would cause third-degree burns to anyone within 22 kilometers, or close to 14 miles from ground zero, covering an area of over 1,500 square kilometers or 580 square miles. The human cost would be staggering, estimated at over 2.8 million immediate fatalities and 4.6 million injuries. And remember, this is from just one Trident II missile. The United States operates 14 Ohio-class nuclear submarines, each capable of carrying up to 20 Trident II missiles. That adds up to 280 Trident II missiles lurking in the depths of the oceans. With each missile carrying up to 8 warheads at 475 kilotons apiece, we're looking at a total of 2,240 nuclear warheads. If you calculate the combined explosive power, it amounts to an astonishing 1,064 megatons of TNT. That's the equivalent of over 70,000 Hiroshima bombs worth of destructive energy concealed beneath the sea. This immense force is constantly on patrol, ready to be unleashed if ever called upon.
Wow, that's terrifying. That is terrifying. Here we have Diana Penchenko. Putin prepares nukes. U.S. prepares wartime mobilization. Now, I believe this is a Ukrainian station. People are not aware about the risks. Please share. We've been through this before in Ukraine, and we know how it will end. Let's listen.
The war is coming. I have deja vu. Everything that is happening between the US and Russia, we have already seen in Ukraine. They also promised us that there would be no war, but it was getting worse day by day. Today, our country is destroyed. Have a look at the official document, the report of the US Commission on the National Defense Strategy. They know that the war is coming. In the US, they prepare the nation by wartime mobilization. Politicians know everything, but they don't tell people. I don't want a war between the US and Russia, because Ukraine will disappear first in the fight. we all going to lose. I have deja vu. Everything.
Wow. And of course, the timing of all this. Jesse Waters bringing it to our attention.
But it's looking like, I thought we were supposed to get a peaceful transfer of power, but it's looking like another resistance. Biden's sabotaging Trump's plan to end the Ukraine war. He's handing Zelensky long-range American-made missiles, and he's shooting them deep into Russia. Now Putin's putting the nuclear option on the table. So before Trump even gets into office, he's going to have to wiggle his way out of World War III. Plus, Joe's sending every last dollar into Ukraine and billions more to his green buddies to build windmills and chargers. And now he's putting together a high-speed conveyor belt for migrants to come in before Trump does. He's giving, you remember the Open Table for Illegals app? It's getting an upgrade. Biden's new app lets Jose and Maria stay in the country and skip having to check in with ICE. It's really just an app to make illegals invisible. It's like an app to keep them in the shadows, so Tom Homan has a harder time finding them. This after DA Alvin Bragg's assistant just got mugged by an illegal Venezuelan gangbanger with a lengthy rap sheet. So I thought,
wow, I didn't know that. Alvin Bragg. Wow. Yep, they're feeling it. Here is back in February of 22 when Biden was asked about Putin using nukes.
Trying to go beyond.
To take. Cecilia Vega, ABC.
One of his few press conferences that he held with, of course, his cheat sheet.
Sir, sanctions clearly have not been enough to deter Vladimir Putin to this point. What is going to stop him? How and when does this end? And do you see him trying to go beyond Ukraine? And a second question I'll just give to you now. This statement that he gave last night, the threat that he gave, the West will face consequences greater than any you have faced in history. Is he threatening a nuclear strike?
I have no idea what he's threatening. I know what he has done, number one. And number two, no one expected the sanctions to prevent anything from happening. It has to show, this is going to take time, and we have to show resolve so he knows what's coming. And so the people of Russia know what he's brought on them. That's what this is all about. This is going to take time. It's not going to occur. He's going to say, oh my God, these sanctions are coming. I'm going to stand down. He's going to test the resolve of the West to see if we stay together, and we will. We will, and it will impose significant costs on him.
Oh my goodness. One day ago, the U.S. wants to arm Ukraine with nukes before Biden leaves. In a jaw-dropping twist, Biden officials are reportedly seriously considering giving nuclear weapons to Ukraine. Yes, nukes in Ukraine. Of course, Putin will not be fine with that at all. And then this we reported on about, this was 5 days ago, but we need to bring this to your attention again.
Which has just come in, informing us about a threat in the coming days of a missile attack on Hrushevskoho 5. That's the parliament. Well, we'll see if it happens or not, but I see that Putin has raised the stakes to the max for the Ukrainian population, for the Ukrainian people, and it's clear that Ukraine must respond to this, but not just Ukraine must respond. And besides Ukraine, the international community must respond.
So they're still talking about a potential attack on the parliament of Ukraine. And this also, just to keep in your mind, Putin responding to escalating tensions, slamming the U.S. for dismantling the 2019 missile treaty and testing advanced missile systems globally.
19. And we believe it is a mistake on the part of the United States to destroy the system that was established by the missile treaty in 2019. We see that the United States and their allies are now considering and has successfully tested their capabilities to deploy advanced missile systems in different parts of the world. And their exercises routinely include the use of such weapons. Russia has unilaterally refused to deploy intermediate and small-range missiles until we see similar weapons deployed by the United States in a region of the world. The use of the novel system, which was essentially an operational test, was carried out in response to the decisions made by the United States and their allies. And the further actions will be considered and decided based on what we see from them.
Oh, and there's more. There was a peace ceasefire that Joe Biden is taking credit for. The ceasefire deal between Israel and Hezbollah. However, the Washington Post says Israel was doing it for President Trump. Remember, we reported on that, right? Like it was like the day after Trump won. They're like, we want to have a ceasefire. We want to do this now. Is it a coincidence that Israel agreed to a ceasefire right after talks with Trump? Of course not. 15 hours ago, Russia issuing a warning to the West. If the West transfers nuclear weapons to Ukraine, transfers, not fires, transfers nuclear weapons to Ukraine, it will be equated to an attack on Moscow, providing grounds for a nuclear response. Biden also has just asked for another $24 billion for Ukraine just weeks before Trump takes office. Is Biden trying to launder as much cash as possible before he's out of power? And then we have the climate czar, John Kerry, says we're on the brink of needing to declare a climate emergency. And you need to behave.
Additional challenge. So I think personally we're on the brink of needing to declare a climate emergency, which is what we really have. And we need to get people to behave as if this really is a major transitional challenge to the whole planet, to everybody. People in Africa don't have electricity, need to choose the right kinds of electricity. And we need to help them be able to afford it and do it. We are the largest economy in the world, $24 trillion or $23 trillion economy, maybe more by now. The next closest is China at about 18 trillion. And the next closest to the two of us, Germany and Japan at 4 trillion. That's how far it drops down. You don't think we have some sort of obligation out of that to be responsible? I think you do. But I'm just saying that our country needs to talk about this. And we need to make it happen because we're paying huge sums of money to make up the difference. So,
yeah, keep flying your private jet, buddy. Yeah. I cannot wait for that guy to be gone, too. Joe Biden taking full credit for the proposed ceasefire between Israel and Hamas earlier today. I'm not even going to play his remarks because probably wouldn't be able to understand it. But this is, I think, most troubling, that Germany's drawing up plans to use metro stations as air raid shelters, according to the Telegraph. So they're planning for something. Meanwhile, there's talk of literally transferring nukes into Ukraine, which Putin sees that just the transfer of them is going to be considered a provocation and an excuse to use nukes. So make no mistake, next 55 days could determine humanity's fate. While Biden fumbles with climate change at G20 summits, Putin's finger hovers over the nuclear trigger. Ukrainian parliament faces missile threats. NATO facilities are in the crosshairs, and the world holds its breath, waiting for Trump to return and restore sanity. So here's what I want to know from you. Should Trump's first call as president be to Putin or Z? Drop your diplomatic strategy in the comments below, because Donald Trump's going to read them. And for those preparing for uncertain times, make sure you gear up with our MAGA Avengers collection. It has arrived at the Next News merch shop. These limited edition pieces feature our powerful MAGA Avengers design and reminds the world why America must lead. So head to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. It's linked below, because like world peace, these won't last forever. Okay, a couple more super chats to get to. Alice, She's bringing us over the top. Hope it helps. Yes, we have broke the $200 mark. We are now at $210. Also, Bob Cremens, here is $5 to fill your cup again with coffee. Cheers to you, Bob. Thank you for that. So we're at $210.19 today. Awesome. Thank you, guys. And I'm telling you, you guys don't even realize what these super chats mean to me and to Angie and to Brian, because we are still digging out of a big hole of being demonetized for so long. And every penny you guys throw, whew, it is a big help. Sincerely, it is a big help. All right, we've got, take a look at some of the other chat messages that have come through in the main chat room. Wow, we've been streaming for 3 hours and 13 minutes. Okay. Dane Panton, they are nukes from the 70s, so it would be like a truck bomb. Parmas Dax, he's already talking with Zelensky. Raphael, pray for peace in Ukraine. Paul says the truth is it's television media versus the people. Their motive is to control and make money, and us simply to live a simple life. We are in the battle with evil, and just may win. Right now, looks like we're winning. Heather says, good haul tonight. Thank you, Heather. Excuse me. Raphael, John Kerry belongs to Skull and Bones. Yes, he does. He works for the deep state. Frosty Sprinkles. What's up, Frosty? Good to see you. I'm hoping these nukes don't reach in Ukraine. General Milley should be prosecuted for his idiocy. Hey, check that out. Frosty Sprinkles. He just dropped $2 in our super chat jar. Thank you. I was just reading your last message here. What are you saying here? The Krasen Stumpers are gone? Really? They left? Did they really leave? I thought I saw something about that today, but I wasn't sure. I guess, they were paid operatives by the left, the DNC, to stir up dissent on X and to spew all the talking points. So they lost. Their job is done. They can't get paid anymore. So that would make sense that they would be leaving social media. Good riddance, though. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Let's see. Thank you for that. $2, Frosty. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Okay, let's go. Running Bear, I have blisters on my fingers. Take care of North Carolina now. This guy from Canada personally reminds me of Crowder. Who is the guy from Canada? Okay, the man in Guatemala asked Biden where were the kids. Biden had them shut down. Oh, these are, I'm 3 hours behind. Holy cow. Wow. Okay, while they fly all over the place in fancy jets, Miss Danny. I think Trump needs to do an investigation in these organizations that have been giving assistance to the illegals. I think so, too. Heather, Gary got your message. I sure did, Ides. Maybe the name Skull and Bones after Gary. W and J and L Wagner. Good morning to you, too. Artist with purple hair, wars and rumors of war indeed. Yep, that certainly is happening here. Larry Siebens. Hi, Gary. Hey, live at Next News Network. Great commentary, sir. Thank you, Larry. Appreciate that. Okay, let's check in. It's already like almost 1:30 here. I've got a lot to get to. I'll be up till 4 o'clock in the morning again, and that doesn't bode war for the show tomorrow. Elon Musk. Oh, cool. Mark Andreessen. Brian, can we get that? Where's that one for you? I don't know. I bring it up myself here, but I don't know which one it is. Let's see. It's somewhere here. Oh, Big X feed and chat. Yeah, that's the one. Thank you. Elon Musk 5 minutes ago saying yes to Mark Andreessen. The entire country feels like it's being powered back up. Do you feel it? I feel it. 2 hours ago, Korea will disappear. Every generation population collapse. As of 2024, the fertility rate in South Korea is 0.68 births per woman. Wow. Elijah saw Gladiator 2, and he says it was ass. Oh, I hope not. I hope not. I want to see that. Anthony Jeselnik roasting Joe Rogan listeners as losers. Buck Sexton channeling the drunk aunt who's a total mess but chases you down after every holiday dinner to give you unwanted life advice on your way out the door. She looks bad. She does. She probably had a couple drinks before she went and recorded this. That's what everybody's saying. Meghan McCain, 3 hours ago. Take this down. She's still the sitting vice president. For God's sake, this is awful. Like, really awful. Even Meghan McCain is saying this is bad. Wow. OMG, this dude is calling out LeBron James in front of everyone at the football game. We know you was at them Diddy parties. What? Oh, boy.
Diddy parties, nigga! Bron! We know you was at them Diddy parties, nigga!
Whoa, I'm not going to play that word. Oh, yeah. Okay, this video is evidence Hollywood is completely out of touch with the public and are living in some Hunger Games fantasy. Yeah. I mean, because I've got like monitors around my production area, and when the Xfinity like isn't active, like if we're not actively watching a show, a screensaver pops up and it just basically advertises a bunch of different things. And this has been advertised repeatedly on my screens, and it is just like the most nauseating visuals I've ever seen. Like I walk past it, and I'm like, oh man, like maybe I should turn on the TV just to get it off the screen. Washington Times, we covered this earlier. Ignorant voters fuel Trump's win. Alec Baldwin says Americans are very uninformed about reality. Dave the Patriot dropping a 5 spot. What is he saying? Dave the Patriot. He says, where is it? Bring it up. I'm waiting for it. Remember, the children need rescuing ASAP, and POW Americans need release now. It should show up on my screen here, but there's a lot of lag on this computer, so I can't actually bring it up at the moment. Otherwise, I would. Wait. Maybe there it is. There it is. Remember, the children need rescue ASAP. POW Americans need release now. Amen. I mean, even Ben Shapiro is saying that she's sloshed. She's sloshed. Vice President Kamala Harris message to supporters. Yeah, she didn't look good. Doge is looking for feedback. Would you support releasing all the names to the public? $18.2 million congressional slush fund for Me Too claims. Ho, ho, ho. Adam Andrzejewski. He just passed away, sadly. He ran for governor of Illinois at one point. Wow. Yeah. They should release the slush fund names. Who's going to miss Joe Biden? I think the only person missing the White House is going to be Jill Biden. Awake Illinois, our partner in helping the Illinois businesses, the Fox Valley businesses that were targeted. America didn't want this at the wheel for 4 years. Nope, nope, nope. Everyone is roasting Kamala Harris for this video. Okay, Robbie Starbuck, our movement has now killed woke policies at the following businesses. Without X, I wouldn't have accomplished this. X will save our country and our culture. This list represents trillions of dollars and millions of employees. Let's look at this. Okay, so we got Walmart, Tractor Supply, John Deere, Harley Davidson, Indian Motorcycle, Lowe's, Ford, Coors, Jack Daniels, Caterpillar, Boeing, Toyota, Stanley, Black & Decker, Craftsman, and DeWalt Tools. We won't stop until wokeness is eliminated. Congratulations, Robbie Starbuck. Congratulations, man. The Commanders are in talks to bring back the Redskins? Are you serious?
And culture. We were calling out leaders on a case of really woke gone wrong. The irony that they were canceling Native American culture as the DEI movement went way too far. Look, this is honoring a Blackfeet chief who was born in Montana. He's highly esteemed. The Blackfeet tribe of Montana, their current chairman and the tribal council signed a letter in strong support to bring the logo back. It honors Indian country. So we've had good discussions with the NFL and with the Commanders. There's good faith negotiations going forward that's going to allow this logo to be used again. Perhaps revenues going to a foundation that could help Native Americans in sports and so forth. We're making good progress. And based on the good faith negotiations, I made a decision to support this bill yesterday in the committee.
I know that they put a plaque up at Northwest Stadium honoring Wetzel and the logo. It'd be great to see it back on the helmets again. Senator, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
I mean, talk about the destruction of woke culture. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. Matt Wallace, this kid disappeared off the face of the planet. Yeah, no one's talked about this guy for a while. Whatever happened to that investigation? U.S. can't police its way out of gun violence crisis. New data reveals shocking reality. Guns killed more kids than car crashes. 2019-2022, 46 Americans dying daily from gun violence in 2024. Experts say arrest alone won't solve the crisis. Wow. Okay, folks. Oh, wait. We got a couple more. Look at that. Aaron Autry, South Korea. He says South Korean women are the OGs of the 4B movement. That's why their birth rate is feverishly low. Thank you for that. $5. TJ says, keep up the great work, Gary. Thank you, TJ. Appreciate that. Very much so. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we've witnessed tonight isn't just news. It's history unfolding before our eyes. So let's recap this extraordinary broadcast, because every single development we've covered will impact your life directly. The border wars have ignited with Trump's 25% tariff threat, bringing both Mexico and Canada to the negotiating table with ours. Tom Homan is ready to jail sanctuary city mayors, and the largest deportation operation in American history is about to begin. The old system is crumbling, and law and order is returning. We expose the coming media revolution where independent voices will replace legacy propaganda merchants in the White House press room. The days of fake news controlling the narrative are numbered, and real journalism is making a comeback. The great corporate awakening continues as Walmart leads the charge against woke DEI policies, proving that going woke truly means going broke. Their stock surge after abandoning these failed policies sends a clear message to every boardroom in America. And Trump's transition team has outmaneuvered the deep state, completely bypassing their corrupted system. The swamp creatures are fleeing, and for the first time in decades, we're seeing what real government reform looks like. Perhaps most critically, we've revealed how Biden's reckless policies have pushed us to the brink of global conflict with Putin's nuclear threats and NATO provocations, creating a powder keg that only Trump's return can diffuse. So to our incredible viewers who sent in super chats, yes, $227.19 tonight. Thank you, guys. Your Rumble rants as well. I thank you very much. Your voices matter, and we have made sure that the world heard them. So, special shout out to all you guys for your outstanding contributions to tonight's discussion. But Patriots, keeping the operation running, bringing you the truth the mainstream media won't touch, it does take resources. We're digging out of a hole. So if you value real journalism, if you believe in our mission, please consider supporting us through the donation links in the description. Every dollar helps us fight against the propaganda machine. And don't forget to visit our new merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Our exclusive Mag Avengers collection isn't just clothing, it is a statement. It's your way of showing the world that you stand with real news and not fake news. Let me tell you, these limited edition pieces are flying off the shelves. People love them. So remember to share the broadcast, text it to friends and family, anyone who needs to hear the truth, because the algorithms cannot stop direct communication. This is why we do what we do. This is why we fight. And this is why we need your support now more than ever. The next few weeks will be crucial for our nation's future, and the Raw feed will be here every step of the way, bringing you the stories they don't want you to hear. I'm Gary Franchi, and thank you for joining us tonight. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and God bless America. We'll see you tomorrow on the Raw feed.
And we are wild.